fired their coaching staff and front office. We'll see if Aaron Rodgers ends up the quarterback at the end of the season. But I've got the solution for either one of those teams as their next head coach. And he goes by the name of Deion Sanders. I'm Sean Levine.
Whatever.
Come on in to Total Wine & More. Prices much lower than a grocery store. With the lowest prices for over 30 years, you'll always find what you love and love what you find. Only at Total Wine & More.
Drink responsibly, B21.
1 in 4 Americans have a disability. I'm one of them. I'm also a working mom who cares deeply about making sure every child with a disability thrives by getting their access needs met. We've got a trusted ally by our side. Easter Seals provides children and families the foundation for lifelong success through early learning programs, skills training, and prep for college and career. That's my Easter Seals. Make it yours. Join us at easterseals.com.
Introducing TGL presented by SoFi, golf's newest league on ESPN and ESPN+. This isn't your average Sunday pickup game. To learn more, visit tglgolf.com and tune into the inaugural season beginning January 7th. Keep up. It's golf.
From the O'Reilly Chevrolet Traffic Center, it's Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic. Some slowing on eastbound I-10 approaching the Ajo-Kino connection. Westbound I-10 slowing approaching and passing Alvernon. Collisions that are reported Alvernon and Fort Lowell. Country Club north of Los Reales, Kolb Road and Golf Links, Duval Mine Road at I-19, Broadway to the east of Craycroft. And I'm Cricket with your Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic.
This report is sponsored by Staples Stores. Staples has amazing deals on everything you need for the holidays, from custom holiday cards and photo gifts to laptops and gaming systems, even shipping solutions. And now save up to $350 on select computers. In-store only. Offer ends 12/28. Unwrap huge holiday savings at Staples.
Sponsored by Progressive Insurance. Progressive makes bundling easy and affordable. Get a multi-policy discount by combining your motorcycle, RV, boat, ATV, and more. All your protection in one place. Bundle and save at Progressive.com.
Back to Eugene Snarkle, rising UberTube star, and his best friend, Doug.
Eugene, you've been working on my car's brakes for 3 days now. Is there a problem? And what's with all the orange stuff on your t-shirt?
Research, Doug.
The orange stuff is research?
No, I'm doing research for my next UberTube video on fixing brakes. I need the Chizo snack food to power my 72-hour video binges. It gets a little messy, but I'm willing to make the sacrifice.
Looks like the only sacrifice...
For all the latest news when it comes to Arizona football, along with Arizona football play-by-play, we are Wildcats Radio 1290. Wildcat Nation, are you ready?
Krivas turnaround, gets it off, and it rolls in for 2. Oh my! KJ Lewis slams it home. Stolen away by Bradley. Caleb on a breakaway windmill jam.
Arizona basketball never sleeps.
Bear down, Cats. Our Window Depot coverage of U of A basketball begins with Meridian Wealth Management Arizona Game Day. The pregame show is brought to you by Meridian Wealth Management. Wealth well managed, life well lived. We're counting down to tip-off of Arizona basketball. This is Wildcats Radio 1290.
Larson's playing center field. Duke's going to try to inbound, not really the length of the court, but at least length of the court through half court. High lob, dangerous pass, deflected, stolen. Arizona's got it, and that's your ball game on an emphatic slam by KJ Lewis. ball game here in Cameron as Caleb Love waves bye-bye to the Cameron Crazies one more time. He's going to be responsible for another loss in Cameron as Arizona has come to Durham and knocked off the Blue Devils 78-73.
It's Arizona versus Duke. I mean, I think that's enough said right there.
Enough said indeed. For the 11th time tonight, it is the Wildcats and the Blue Devils, and it'll happen right here at McHale Center. It is basketball night in Arizona, and we've got you all the way up to 8 o'clock here tonight, getting you set for Arizona, number 17 in the country, and the Duke Blue Devils, the 12th ranked basketball team in the nation. My name is David Kelly. I've got my guys here. I've got Kelvin Efon, the captain from 1998. I've got JW, man. We got J-Dubs in the building with us.
Outside the house.
That's right, outside the house here. We are on the Champions Plaza, the Jim Click Hall of Champions Plaza, right outside the Eddie Lynch Athletics Pavilion here, getting you set for basketball. The biggest night, well, I guess, maybe up for debate, maybe the biggest night, some people would say, when you play ASU, but a lot of people would say the biggest night this season is going to be tonight, because a national power, a multiple-time national champion is in the house. The Duke Blue Devils, many will call them America's team. They have been one of the most popular programs in this country going back to the 1980s. So a lot of excitement, guys, for what is going to take place here today.
Yeah, a lot of excitement, man. I mean, I always say to J-Dub, this is the reason why guys come to Arizona to play in these type of games. Well, here it is, and it's in McHale Center. Usually we play these at neutral sites in Phoenix or in Ann Arbor against Michigan or something like that. Or, no, we played in Detroit when we played Michigan. So,
Newark.
Yeah, Newark or something like that. So, it's exciting to see Duke here and having an opportunity for the guys to play them in McHale Center.
Yeah, and last time, we'll get into that, I'm sure, was a home and home as well. And they played here in Durham and Tucson way back in the 90s. So rare, Kelvin, that you get two powerhouse programs like this, two top 15, 20 programs in America coming together early, non-conference. And both team has question marks, so they're not exactly returning 9 players from rosters from last year. Both teams coming off a loss. Couldn't get bigger than this, DK. Just really looking forward to the Blue Devils coming to town. First time in 30 years?
Yeah, 1991, 33 years. Well, really 32 and a half, because it was during the the latter portions of that 1991 regular season, back when, as we talked, and you'll hear from Matt Muehlbach, back when you used to play that big game on the same week you would play ASU, because there was only one game that week, so coaches would schedule a second game. We've got buddies walking by here. We got one buddy with a Duke shirt on. We got one buddy with a U of A shirt on. I mean, that's what it's going to be like today. There was a bunch of – we've got the Zona Zoo not real far from us.
Nope.
We are on the other side, obviously, up on the plaza. They are down below outside the Zona Zoo entrance right now. They slept out here overnight, or slept here inside of McHale, a slumber party, a sleepover last night, and then they lined up. They've been lined up outside since 7 a.m. There were kids that skipped school to come and wait for the Blue Devils to show up for shoot-around. Earlier, I saw some kid had a sign that said, me and my buddies skipped class to come meet Cooper Flagg. So kudos, I guess, to their teacher for letting them come get out of school. I mean, this is a historic day here in Tucson when you get this type of atmosphere, and it is going to be blazing here tonight. A few complaints about the late start time, 8:30 for a game like this. You thought maybe a little bit of an earlier start time for a game the level of Duke and Arizona, but look, we'll take it, and it's going to be a fun evening. It's going to be a fun 24 hours. We've got pregame right now till 8 o'clock. We're going to come back and talk about this game afterwards from about 11:30 to maybe 1:30 in the morning. And we're going to turn around, come back, and talk about some football tomorrow morning starting at 8:30. So we'll be sleeping all day on Sunday.
We'll be sleeping in McHale, too.
Exactly. We might be sleeping overnight here in McHale as well. We've got a lot in store for you. In fact, let's let you know what's coming up on today's show.
Let's take a look at the Right Way Rundown and see what's coming up on our pregame show. Brought to you by Right Way Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing. Do things the right way.
All right, we'll dive into what happened the last time out at Wisconsin. That was a week ago tonight. The first loss of the season for your Arizona Wildcats, 103-88. Our spotlight on a cat, Tobe Awaka, the transfer from Tennessee. Looking forward to his big game here tonight against the Blue Devils. Matt Muehlbach will join us as we go a view courtside. Sponsored by Kaiser Garage Door and Gates. We'll have our pest of the game, who will be that Blue Devil that gets under the skin of the Wildcats tonight. That's brought to you, as always, by University Termite and Pest Control. Best bets, Arizona, a 1.5-point favorite at home here tonight over the Blue Devils with an over-under of 161.5. All of that is coming up for you as well. But first and foremost, let's dive in to what happened the last time out against the Wisconsin Badgers. It was not a good night because one, John Tanji, went off.
Tanji the other way, stop and pop a three, and that's good.
Yeah, once again, Tanji coming off that pick and roll, just too much room.
Crowell with the ball for Wisconsin. Angle right, waits for McGee to come out and get it. Drives to Tanji, wide open three from the left wing. It's good.
That just cannot happen. When a guy's having a night like Tanji's having, he cannot be found wide open for an easy three.
And you wonder if the Badgers here will try and take the air out of the ball at all and slow things down. They get it to Tanji in the lane, shot up, good, and he's fouled. Well, or you do it that way.
Yeah.
Yeah, John Tanji, 41 points last Friday night in Madison, Wisconsin. You score 41 on a top 10 team like Arizona, and you know what that gets you? AP National Player of the Week awards for that young man.
Hey, he deserved it. The way that he played, he came out on a mission. You could tell that he had that game marked and drawn with a big star next to it in a circle as the game that he was hyped for, man. I mean, his size, showed me that's something that I'm going to be looking for the rest of the year because at his size, 6'6", 6'7", I think that he was a matchup problem. Did we put a big guy on him or did we put a guard on him? And I think we're going to have some of those issues tonight with Cooper Flagg as well. But that kid just came out and just had a magnificent night. One to remember and a tough one for the Wildcats.
Yeah, Kelvin, you always talk about how, Arizona coming in, got that name across the jersey. A lot of guys circle those games. When you're talking about a team that lost, by 35 points last time they were here in McHale, the year before, they're remembering their two Final Four teams before the game with Bo Ryan. Yeah, I mean, you knew that they were going to come in and Tanji. Kelvin, I want to know, did you watch that tape, and is there anything you thought maybe the Cats could have done better outside of getting switched off of some kind of mismatch with a shorter player on him?
The only thing I thought they could have done better is send a double team to him earlier and force the ball out of his hands.
Once he got hot.
Yeah, once he got hot, I thought you should have went in full denial and not let him catch it, force him to go back door, not let him be able to catch the ball at the three and have a two-way go on being able to shoot the three and attack the basket. So that's me. But early in the year, you don't do that.
No.
Early in the year, you go straight man and just try to figure it out. Most coaches, especially coaches like Coach Lloyd that have a reputation, they're not going to adjust. They're not going to junk it up.
Sure.
But I would have junked it up a little bit for him. I would have changed the picture. I thought I thought it was too easy for him, and I just thought he needed a couple doubles or something.
All right, let's hear from head coach Tommy Lloyd, his takeaways after reviewing the tape of the loss at Wisconsin.
Obviously, we got to handle, playing on the road better. And listen, Wisconsin, it was a great atmosphere that day. To go put your team to that test early in the season, there's a chance it could go the way it went. You have to be realistic, and when you schedule out, and we went in there and knew it was going to be a tough game, and they have some veteran players that are really good, and maybe a little bit under the radar and a little bit undervalued. And, kind of picking that up on film, I was kind of seeing that, and it played out that way. And then their role players played really well on top of it. That happens on certain days. Obviously, the things we got to address is the fouling. You got to give yourself a chance to stay in a road game, and you can't allow a team to shoot 47 free throws. And, you definitely can't. You don't want to be behind the free throw index 23-2, in the first half. I mean, it's really hard to overcome that. And there's not nothing on refereeing. That's just on, we've got to do a better job, as players and coaches of managing that.
Well, one of the things that Tommy said that after the game that I thought was interesting, guys, was he said that he felt like his team did not adjust to the way that the game was being called. And we'll hear from him because I asked him that question later. We'll hear from him in DK and TL. But what adjustments do you feel like they could have made, Kelvin, in that situation? How do you adjust to a game and how it's being refereed?
Well, first of all, once you see the referees are calling ticky-tack fouls, you got to back off and show the referees your hands. Once the referees see your hands touching guys and they're already blowing the whistle, they're going to continue to do it. So I think that was the first thing. I mean, it was tough for the guys because the kids started having a great game, so you want to be more physical with them to try to slow them down. But that was right, what he was looking for. Usually you don't have a guy that can make threes and drive the ball to the basket. So that was the bigger problem with him, is that he had some skill behind him. So once those threes got going, we had to get up in them, and now he started attacking the basket, and he started getting some calls because he had a little size on him as far as size and experience is concerned.
Yeah, the biggest issue in the old conference was that the inconsistency from first half to second half. So the biggest complaint a lot of fans had was you might see a first half where you'd see really tight calls. Second half, they'd let them play looser. Why don't you keep it the same? When you go on the road like this, neutral game, the refs are always going to have first of all, there was some chippiness right there early, right? So they were trying to gain control.
Oh, yeah.
And so the refs start getting in that mold of trying to take control and calling fouls. That's the adjustment. The adjustment is, hey, now the refs are calling it super tight. Let's not reach in. Let's make sure we move our feet. Let's not go for those ball fakes, because they're going to call those to try to rein in, make sure it doesn't get overheated. And you could tell that Wisconsin understood, Kelvin, that that's what was going on. And some of those younger Arizona players, a little bit handsy during that stretch.
Tommy Lloyd asked, was Wisconsin, did they just get hot shooting the ball, or was this a defensive breakdown for Arizona?
A little bit of both. I mean, we got punched a little bit, and I thought we did a they're very clear and concise on what they're looking for from us, and I appreciate that. So this is not turning into, complaining about officials' press conference, because, hey, guys, that was almost a week ago, and we're on to the next thing.
I did not hear, did either of you hear, were those Big 12 refs last Friday? I didn't
know one
remember
or
hearing
two
that.
were, yeah.
Yeah, I wasn't sure. I wasn't sure whatever.
I think it was a mixed crew. I got a question for Coach Kelvin Ifon. You're allowed to be angry about the way the refs are calling it, but when you've got your kids in the huddle and they're on the sideline and the game's been called too tight and they're not happy about it, They can't let that get to them, right? It doesn't matter if you're playing in the game. You just play however the refs are calling it. You can't get all emotional about that because guess what? That leads to L's.
And you know, what I usually try to tell the guys is this: hey, guys, let me get on the refs. If everybody get on the refs, they're not going to listen to none of us. And they're going to turn on all of us. Let me do it. It's my job, and I can do it in a way of where it's still respectful. You know, now, once it gets to the end and it's over with, whatever.
Right,
now. But in between.
There's a time for respect.
Yeah. I'm going to try to get it together early, you know, and try to help the kids out or whatnot. But sometimes you're just in those type of wars. Sometimes you go to some gyms and, hey, you're going to have to win you're going to have to be up by 10 points going into the last 5 minutes to even have a chance to win those games, because the refs respect that gym, respect that coach, and they're going to call the game a certain type of way. And you understand that from Little League. In Little League, 12 under teams, you go to Phoenix and you know it's a 10 to 15 point advantage.
They're trying to get out of there without having stuff thrown at them, right?
Okay, so it's just how it goes, man. It's just a part of playing basketball in somebody else's backyard.
87 free throws in that game last week, of which 47 went to the home team, the Wisconsin Badgers, and they knocked down 41 of those 47 to win by 15 points. This is Meridian Wealth Management, Arizona Game Day. We've got Dragon Ball David Amata running the ship back at the studios in the CNWT. We've got much more coming up for you. We'll begin to dive in to today's game against the Duke Blue Devils. We've got Dan Schulman and Jay Billis and the ESPN crew, along with Myron Metcalf on the broadcast nationally today. And we'll also hear from one of our local broadcasters, NA Arizona alum Matt Muehlbach, coming up a little bit later as well. Along with Kelvin Ifan and JW Madden, I'm David Kelly. You're listening to Wildcats Radio 1290.
Our Window Depot coverage of Arizona basketball is just getting started. This is Meridian Wealth Management Arizona Game Day. Hour 1 of the pregame show is brought to you by Desert Diamond Casinos, First Chiropractic, Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care, Picture Rocks Cooling, Heating and Plumbing, Restaurant Supply Store, Royal GMC Buick and Cadillac, Royal Kia, Royal Jaguar Land Rover, the Polston Results Team with Keller Williams Southern Arizona, the Window Depot, and by Meridian Wealth Management. Wealth well managed, life well lived.
Experiencing the natural wonders comes easy at Rockin' K. Nestled at the base of the Rincon Mountain foothills, enjoy stunning mountain views up close every day. 6 model homes are now open to tour at Del Webb at Rockin' K. Here, life is about more than just beautiful homes. It's about the experiences waiting outside your front door at this new 55-plus active adult neighborhood. LiveRockingK.com. Designed by nature. Proud U of A radio broadcast sponsor.
The Window Depot has everything you need to create the kitchen or bathroom of your dreams. Browse the aisles of in-stock cabinets available in a variety of sizes and configurations and instantly elevate your space today. Visit a showroom and let our experts guide you. Whether you're choosing from ready-to-go designs or creating a custom masterpiece, we can help you select the perfect wood type, color, and style, and top it off with unique hardware to complete your look. Find a location near you at thewindowdepot.com. The Window Depot, more than a window store.
Driving the lane, dunking on the competition, and playing as a team. These are things we'll see this season watching our Wildcats play basketball. These happen to be the things you'll also find when you buy your next vehicle from O'Reilly Chevrolet. The only difference is at O'Reilly, nobody gets penalized for traveling. Heck, we actually encourage it. See us on Broadway next to Park Place Mall. Call 747-8000 or find new roads at O'Reilly.com, where you can experience our version of a steal. O'Reilly Chevrolet, more than a great price.
O'Reilly Chevrolet.
Broadway in Tucson presents the new 2024-2025 season, featuring 6 blockbuster productions, including Mamma Mia and the Southern Arizona premieres of Clue, live on stage, Beetlejuice, Some Like It Hot, the Neil Diamond Musical, A Beautiful Noise, and Shucked. Secure your signature season tickets today and get the best seats at the best prices. Visit BroadwayInTucson.com and secure your 2024-2025 season tickets today.
Do you trust those in charge of your financial future? Trust is founded on 3 core principles: competence, honesty, and benevolence. Those making decisions about your financial future should always place your best interest ahead of their own. I'm Natalie Fernandez-Lee, and at Meridian Wealth Management, fostering trusted relationships with our clients is our top priority. Call us at 719-1433 or visit meridianwealthllc.com to learn more today.
Advisory services provided by Meridian Wealth Management, a registered investment advisor.
Don't hold back. Just dive right in. This is Desert Diamond. The round-the-clock, off-the-charts, over-the-top spectacle that puts a shine on any day, anytime. The tables are hot to the touch. The slots are spinning winners every day. And the point spreads are yours for the taking. So go ahead. Live the diamond life. Desert Diamond Casino. Visit ddcaz.com.
An enterprise of the Thana A'adim Nation.
2025 is bringing the biggest change to air conditioning in decades. New EPA regulations mean AC costs could rise by up to 25%. If you've been thinking about replacing your old AC, now's the time. Rightway is offering 0 interest financing and a free furnace when you replace your AC this month. Don't wait till next year when prices go up. Call Rightway today for your free no-obligation estimate. Call 520-549-2697.
Honey, our yard's full of weeds. Looks like a jungle and the neighbors are complaining.
I know. I'm trying to get rid of them, but the product I'm using, it doesn't work.
Oh.
Not to mention, I don't have the time.
But it's not just weeds.
It's not?
No, I'm seeing ants.
Ants?
Yeah, and spiders.
Ooh, spiders.
I know, and I think I saw a scorpion.
No way.
Yes way, and there's a pack rat in our garage.
Ew. Okay, I'll call University Termite and Pest Control today. We'll get rid of all of them.
Okay, honey, thank you.
University Termite and Pest Control, locally owned. Find them online at bepestfree.com.
Our Window Depot coverage of U of A basketball continues. This is the Meridian Wealth Management Arizona Game Day pregame show on Wildcats Radio 1290. Now back to your hosts, David Kelly, the captain Kelvin Ifan, and J.W. Madden.
Second free throw hits the heel of the rim in the front. Off to Love. He can hurry with 3, with 2. NBA 3 from Love. Banks it in at the horn. Count it. They'll take a look. That one looked clear as day, though, on Alexis of Tucson charity 3 to end the half.
Why? Because he's Caleb freaking Love. How about that?
How about that half-court shot to end the first half of that game at Cameron Indoor Stadium last season? This will be the 9th career game for one Mr. Caleb Love against the Duke Blue Devils. In the previous 8 meetings, he has averaged 17 points, 4 assists, and he has won 5 of those 8 games. So Caleb Love, guys, is going to be looking to bounce back from his performance last week against the Wisconsin Badgers.
Yes, he is, man. I mean, he seems to be a quiet type of guy, man, but you see it on his face and in his body language, man, that he was disappointed, man. And, I didn't mind seeing it because he wanted to play well against Wisconsin. So I'm expecting them to come out here hungry today. To me, more getting people involved, get some assists, make the game easy for itself, get into the paint, get to the free throw line, and everything else will come to him, man. But, I got complete faith in him, man. This guy, I'm going to say kid, but this young man, he can score this basketball, so it's just a matter of just coming in, just playing hard and letting it come to him.
Yeah, Kelvin, and you talk about a guy's 5-year starter, right? So it's not as if hasn't been there, done that. He's had some up games, had some down games. He's got a short memory. So obviously he's not going to be thinking about what happened in Madison. He's not going to be thinking about early fouls. He's going to be thinking about coming out here and helping his team do whatever they can to win a game against a really, really good Duke game coming into his own building.
All right, let's dive into Arizona, number 17 versus 12th ranked Duke.
Our first look at today's Arizona men's basketball game is brought to you by the Window Depot. Lowest prices and biggest inventory. Shop thewindowdepot.com.
The sun is setting here in the desert. We have got basketball tonight at McHale Center between the Duke Blue Devils and the Arizona Wildcats. And Tommy Lloyd talked this week about some of the differences between this year's team and last year's team that the Wildcats beat in Durham.
I think there's some differences, but they still have really talented players last year, and they have, really talented players this year. And, Filipowski and Cooper Flagg. I mean,
Jim, that basket wide open.
Oh, yeah.
He ready to play. I wish we had Matt Muehlbach out there. Yeah, put Matt out there on him or Salim Stoudemire.
Oh, yeah.
We got some boys for him if he really want that smoke.
I don't know if these two teams played during Schreier's era. I think he might have been on that team that lost over in Anaheim in the Sweet 16. I think he was those years, 2009 to about 2000. Well, actually, he was 2010. So he might have just missed that. He may have just been gone because I think that was 2011 that they played that game over in Anaheim. So he just got out of there in time before that famed Derek Williams game that the Wildcats blew the doors off that's probably the game I remember because that was my first Arizona Duke game here. Just an absolutely phenomenal performance by Sean Miller's team in that Sweet 16 to lead them to his first Elite Eight appearance as the head coach here at the University of Arizona. Tommy Lloyd also obviously coming off the loss 103-88 to Wisconsin. I still think he still has not lost back-to-back games, if I'm not mistaken.
I don't think so, no.
No, let's hear from him on that.
we're approaching it like we would after any other, bounce back type game, and we felt like we've addressed a lot of the things in practice. That doesn't guarantee that they're all solved, and because I think I'm sure things will still continue to pop up. But no, we have good dudes, and these guys know that obviously they know we lost last game. They know we didn't maybe play as well as we'd hoped. So let's kind of circle the wagons and see what it looks like tomorrow night. I mean that's the mindset. So there's nothing extra, or I'm not leaning on this guy versus that guy or anything like that.
So yeah, it's going to be one of those things where you both of these teams, as J-Dub mentioned earlier, coming in off of losses, looking to bounce back. So a lot of incentive for both teams coming into this game. There was the taco, you wish they'd both come in undefeated, but the fact that they are both coming in off of losses makes it even more interesting.
Yeah, and it's tough because you think about that Kentucky loss, right? And it was really a couple of turnovers down the stretch. It was a really tight game. Cooper Flagg had a couple of handling mishaps down the stretch. That's why they lost that game. Arizona, on the other hand, they lost to Wisconsin because of a lot of free throws, some foul issues. That wasn't the reason why. It was defense, left some open shooters, all that. But as far as Kelvin, when you look at the Wisconsin tape, we don't know how the refs are going to ref the game tonight. It's going to be the same intense atmosphere. When the players got that little bit of extra adrenaline going, you get a little bit maybe looser with your hands or whatever. You have to figure and play. But it's not as if you can go and watch that tape and say, okay, don't foul that guy because it might not be a foul the next game. Duke can go back and look at how they ran those last 2 offensive plays. Arizona just needs to keep playing the way they're playing, maybe a little bit more disciplined on those shooters, especially on the pump fakes.
Yeah, I think both teams are going to come in a little hungry, especially Cooper Flagg and Caleb Love. I think both of those guys want to come in and play well, so I think it's going to make for an interesting game just from that level. But I think the Wildcats are just hungry to just make amends for that game because they know they can play better than that. Those 3 guards, we were trying to come up with names for them, like what's going to be the name for those guys and how we're going to
3-guard play.
Yeah. So I think when just playing like that, those guys want to come and redeem themselves and come and show that they're a better team than that.
Yeah, they know. And we're talking about returning players. I mean, those 3 guys played last year, right, Kelvin?
Mm-hmm.
So Duke, they don't have a lot of guys coming back. Only a couple of guys coming back. So you talk about, KJ, obviously Jaden Bradley and Caleb. Mm-hmm. They did not have a nice showing up there in Madison. So they definitely got it on their mind. But short memory, come back, get back at it. Another game tonight.
Well, Jaden Bradley had a nice game up in Wisconsin, 22 points. That was a career high for him to go along with 6 rebounds. And, again, he understands that this team has some work to do to try to bounce back from that loss.
Credit to the coaches and everything they've been on us about playing Arizona basketball, playing fast, but, being smart as well. So, the fewer turnovers we have, the more possessions that you want. And, as a basketball team, you want, more shots. That's room for more offensive rebounds and, more points.
Well, and obviously the big number that stood out was just the lack of team assists in that ball game.
Yes.
Yeah.
6 team assists overall, which is, again, I didn't go back and look at it, but I would have to think that's pretty close to an all-time low for a Tommy Lloyd team that generally averages 20 or more.
Kelvin, I didn't actually count the number during that run, but you think about that second half stretch where U of A came back and tied that game. That was when there was less foul calls. There was a little more flow in the game. Everybody got to feel themselves a little bit, getting that flow. I would imagine if you go back and track those, most of those assists probably came through during that stretch.
They definitely did. I think the other time the guys were just trying to go one-on-one, trying to make a play happen, guys taking quick threes, going off the dribble. Instead of moving the ball and trying to find the best shot for the team, you're trying to eat the elephant at one time instead of a bite at a time. So I think that was something to learn from. They're going to learn that they need each other. They're going to have to play together. When this team has over 20 assists is when this team is the most effective.
Yeah, and if you're down 12-15 in the first half, you don't come back in that game by making 5 straight threes. You come back in that game by getting stops.
Especially from guys who don't normally even shoot threes or high efficiency of knocking down threes.
Sure. Yeah, outside your comfort zone, yeah.
All right. Also, we have a chance to hear from a couple members of the Duke Blue Devils, Caleb Foster, Mason Gillis, on what they believe the keys to a win for them are tonight.
Mentality tomorrow, we got to lock up. Tomorrow, we got to rebound, lock up. We just wrapped up practice, final prep for Arizona. Great practice, going into a crazy environment, so we just got to play Duke basketball, play hard, and take Duke shots. Yeah. Beat the toughest team, rebound, all the little things. Win the little things, 50-50 balls every day. Mentality tomorrow, we got to lock up. Got to rebound, lock up, just be the tougher team. That's it. Keep it simple, play our game, come out with a dub.
Both of those guys said rebounding is going to be key in this game tonight.
Yeah, they got some size, man. They got size at the guard positions and for sure on the inside. So, of course, when you have size at those positions, you want to take over the boards. You want to dominate the boards. And we have a great rebounding team as well. That's going to be a great war right there, keeping each other off the offensive boards, because I think the offensive boards and easy buckets is going to be the difference in this game.
Yeah, it's 6'5" and up on this starting lineup for John Shire. We heard from Caleb Foster there. He's a sophomore. He's 6'5". Then you got the guard coming back from last year, Tyrese Proctor. He's 6'6", and then it goes up to 6'7" for Con Kneppel and 6'9" for Cooper Flagg, and then the big man, Kahaman Malawach, 7'2". So yeah, they've got some size for sure that they bring in here tonight, and they'll try to hang an L on the Arizona Wildcats to repay the L that the Wildcats hung on them in their home court, the Cameron Indoor Stadium, last season. It is Meridian Wealth Management, Arizona Game Day. We're getting you set for the Wildcats and the Duke Blue Devils. Tip-off coming up at 8 o'clock. Again, this will be the 11th all-time meeting between these two teams. Arizona leads the series by a count of 6-4. The Wildcats have won the last 3 times these two teams have played, including that game last year. And interestingly enough, Arizona is one of just 3 teams across college basketball that has played Duke 10 or more times and has a winning record against them. The other 2 teams, their rivals Michigan from North Carolina and the team that they lost to already this season, the Kentucky Wildcats. There you go.
Good company.
Yeah, indeed. Meridian Wealth Management, Arizona Game Day. Much more straight ahead coming to you from the plaza here, the right outside the Eddie Lynch Athletics Pavilion, Jim Click Hall of Champions, along with Kelvin Ifan and J.W. Madden. I'm David Kelly. You're listening to Wildcats Radio 1290.
That's been our first look at today's Arizona men's basketball game. Brought to you by The Window Depot. Lowest prices and biggest inventory. Shop thewindownedepot.com.
Does it feel like the price of everything is going up, up, up? We can't control the price of gas or groceries, but at Royal Kia, we never add market adjustments, even while other dealers add fees because inventory is limited. At Royal Kia, you can rest assured you won't pay market adjustments, and we stand by our transparent online pricing. Royal Kia, the dealership that's different. OAC plus tax, title, license, dealer installed options, and $529 doc fee. Royal Kia, Speedway in Columbus or royalkia.com.
Come out to Dave & Buster's, the best place outside of the stadium to see the games this football season. Monday and Thursday, get all-you-can-eat wings with game card for $19.99. Sunday, get in on the chance to win a big game watch party at Dave & Buster's in front of the big screen, plus other big prizes and weekly winners. Join them now through October 22nd, all day, every day. They'll be offering $5 22-ounce drafts only at Dave & Buster's. Make Dave & Buster's your place to watch the games.
As Arizona's leading personal injury law firm for more than 35
or creating a custom masterpiece, we can help you select the perfect wood type, color, and style, and top it off with unique hardware to complete your look. Find a location near you at thewindownedepot.com. The Window Depot, more than a window store.
Experiencing the natural wonders comes easy at Rocking K. Nestled at the base of the Rincon Mountain foothills, enjoy stunning mountain views up close every day. In the top-rated Vail School District, Rocking K is close to work, shopping, and services. Tour 18 model homes by top-tier builders, offering move-in ready homes and special incentives. LiveRockingK.com. Proud U of A radio broadcast sponsor.
Cool Willie's Air and Plumbing. Always trust the big guy. Mention your Wildcats and receive $50 off any repair at coolwillies.com. Cool Willie's is proud to be a partner of the University of Arizona Wildcats radio broadcast. 2 powerful teams working hard for you to get the job done right every day. Cool Willie's Air and Plumbing. Big enough to help, small enough to care. Remember to mention your Wildcats and receive $50 off any repair. CoolWillies.com.
All right, she's inside. Are you good?
Yeah. It's just, she's my baby girl, you know?
I do, and ceramic coating was a good choice.
She's beautiful.
Yep, I know.
Recon Auto Detailing. Enhance or restore your baby to her former glory with paint recondition, ceramic coating, paint protection, tinting, and more for full protection of your vehicle inside and out. New cars, old cars, we love them all. Recon Auto Detailing, 3829 North Oracle Road, Tucson. ReconDetail.com.
Our Window Depot coverage of U of A basketball continues. This is the Meridian Wealth Management Arizona Game Day pregame show on Wildcats Radio 1290. Now back to your hosts, David Kelly, the captain Kelvin Ifan, and J.W. Madden.
Here's KJ Lewis the other way. Crosses midcourt. Leave it high for Townsend. Inside of Walker. Behind the defense. Lays it in. And he's fouled. Kobe to the line. Jaden splits the double team down the lane. Shot high off the glass, missed, no good. Walker the offensive rebound and lays it in.
Walker once again just gobbling up another offensive rebound for the putback.
Our pregame show Spotlight on a Cat is brought to you by O'Reilly Chevrolet. Get more with O'Reilly Chevrolet.
Toby Awaka, 9 points, 13 rebounds, had 7 at the offensive end in the loss at Wisconsin last week. Already this season, he has more offensive rebounds than he has defensive rebounds by 1. 19 offensive rebounds to 18 defensive rebounds for one Toby Awaka, 6'8", 255-pound junior transfer out of Tennessee by way of Hyde Park, New York. Toby Watka is our spotlight, and he talked about how he evaluated the loss to Wisconsin and the fouls that were called on him in that game.
Just have to be a little bit more disciplined. I thought for the most part, they came on a rebound, so that's, sort of part of my game, being aggressive, going for those offensive rebounds. So, those I don't really get too mad at myself about. It's just, kind of me being me. But, just got to mitigate those fouls that are sort of away from the basket, around the three-point line. Whether, it's hand checks or just silly fouls, reaching in, things like that. Rebound-wise, I thought I did a solid job. Probably could have done better on the defensive glass. I thought offensively I did, pretty well.
On the offensive glass side, if you're getting one really close to the ring, are you looking first to put it back up, or is that not always the first thing that you're?
It kind of just depends on my positioning. When I do get an offensive rebound, it's kind of tough because you're usually jumping in the air and then you land, and where you jump from is not where you landed, so you kind of have to reaccount for where the basket is and where the defender is in proportion to the basket. So usually, if it's not a clear shot, I'll try to kick it out.
You played in a lot of big games, obviously last week included. But how does facing Duke compare in your mind? I mean, does it feel any different?
Well, I mean, you kind of understand the pageantry of that whole program and organization, who they are. You don't really take that lightly, but at the same time, you just have to sort of stick to the principles that have sort of founded our program and what we sort of hang our hat on and move forward with that. Obviously, giving full respect to our opponent, in the midst of that.
How important are these games for college basketball to have two programs like Duke and Arizona do a home and home and have an opportunity to play in front of a home crowd on a Friday night?
It's a great thing. I think both sides, coaches included, but obviously for the players, we're competitors, and that's sort of what we want at this level, playing the best of the best. And last year, I know that we were able to get it done at their place, so we know that with them coming here, they're looking for sort of a vengeance, and it's going to be exciting.
Do you get excited for individual matchups? The fact that you're playing a guy that's probably going to be one of the top picks in the draft, do you pay attention to that stuff?
Honestly, no. I just try not to get, really self-absorbed about it. I feel like it kind of takes away from the team, kind of making it about myself. But, with that being said, a team full of highly touted guys, you see it as a opportunity for us to stamp, our team as a title contender, a top team in the country. So, when you have an opponent like that coming into your building, obviously you take recognition of the guys individually, but you kind of understand what a win like that does for the team as a whole.
What do you see on tape when you look at a guy like Cooper Flagg?
He's a great talent. Great at sort of using the ball screen to his advantage. Great to dribble, spin, coming down the lane. But he's a winning player. He's a winning player who makes winning plays, and we just have to be cognizant of him, when he's on the floor.
When you look at guys like him or their big guy, particularly about fouling and how do you defend them without fouling, do you have to focus on that a lot? I mean, especially because those guys are pretty good at picking up fouls. It seems
Yeah,
like.
for sure. I think it's just understanding their individual tendencies. What moves a guy like Flagg likes to do in certain areas on the floor within certain situations. Obviously, the kid Maluwak is a big guy, so he's prone to drawing fouls and things like that. So I think it's just being well positioned and knowing where he is at all times, and sort of doing your work early and sort of not being behind where you have to foul or things like that.
I understand some of the students are gonna camp in here tonight. There's more going on with them. I didn't know at Tennessee, did they have student campsites or anything before a big game or anything? Do you remember anything like that, or is it more obviously?
I think here and there. I think it would be just like big crowds before games, before the sort of like the ticket office opened. But hearing that they're camping out like a whole day before, I haven't really had too much experience with that. But I think it's cool, and it's just a testament to, the fans that we have here and how much they care, and what they sort of mean to this program.
What's the book of the moment?
So I'm reading a book by C.S. Lewis. It's called Tragedy Observed. It's a great book. Sorry, the book is called A Grief Observed. Sorry. It sort of looking into Christianity and sort of how looks into sort of the death of his wife and how he's coping with that, being a Christian, and sort of how he battles the emotion and sort of feeling lost, and sort of the disconnect he feels with his faith when he loses his wife, and sort of his battles with that. So it's been a great read. It's very authentic. He goes kind of deep into his emotion of how that whole event really affected him.
How many books would you say you read in a month or so?
With school now, school's been kind of more tedious, so I haven't really been able to read as many as I would like, but I would probably say around two or three.
Deep dude right there. Toby Owaka, junior transfer out of the University of Tennessee. Can't talk to Toby and not find out what book he's reading at the moment, and he reads some good ones, for sure. The stuff that's way over my head. That is for sure. Toby so far this season has started all 3 games for the Arizona Wildcats, and that is something that's kind of been a little bit of a question about if that's going to potentially continue once we get the other big man, Moteas Krivas, back to full strength. Tommy Lloyd talked about whether or not Krivas could eventually come back to the starting lineup over Toby Owaka.
We'll see. Those are things we got to figure out over the course of the season. I honestly don't think, there's a 100% right answer, 100% wrong answer, and
in that position, whether it's Krivas coming off the bench, whether it's Toby coming off the bench. Do we have an idea yet of what's better for this team, or is it still too soon to kind of really have an idea of that because you really only have played a tough opponent once in Wisconsin?
They're so different, right?
Say it again.
They're so different. Right?
Right. And I just feel like Krivas is still coming back from his injury. And until he's full back from his injury, I think you can't even consider it yet. But it depends on what you are looking for.
Yeah.
I think Krivas brings a little bit more offense to the table, and I think Owaka brings more defense. And I think that's going to have a lot to do with defense and rebounding. I think that's going to have a lot to do with the guard play. If the guards are playing well, you may not need as much inside scoring. But if the guards are not playing well, then you're going to need those bigs on the inside inside getting those easy buckets.
Yeah, I trust Coach when he says both are going to get time. So the thing is that you think about Krivas, if he's going to be on the block, one side or the other, he's got both hands. He can hook over either shoulder. He's basically a bucket down there on the blocks. If you need a guy down there, Kelvin, who you want him to post up and initiate offense out of there and have them sag and maybe find some open shooters, if that's what you're looking for, Krivas is a good starter. If you're going up against a monster rebounder, you got to keep a big body on him, get him off. Maybe Krivas would have some trouble with that. It's situational, but I think at the end of the day, both of them, Kelvin, both of them are going to be a huge part about this team and how they're going to be successful this year. It's going to be those two guys are going to have a lot to do with that.
Krivas, 8.7 rebounds in the loss at Wisconsin. He has been very efficient, I should say, in the minutes he has gotten so far this season, averaging about 13 minutes per ball game and scoring at a rate of 8 points and grabbing 6 rebounds. So when he gets out there on the floor, he's usually producing
Let's see, what's that like?
Quick.
32 rebounds a game
over the
per
course
40.
If you're playing 40 minutes.
Yeah, per 40. Yeah.
And a lot of times when you're in that situation where you're on a deep team, you come in, you're not messing around. You come in, you got to get right to it because there's no minutes to waste because that guy is ready to go and you're watching him from the sidelines play well. You got to go in right now and put up a shut-up. So I think that having guys behind you to push you, I be saying that about in football all the time, having depth 2-3 deep where you have to worry about guys taking your minutes, it make you play better.
Speaking of Toby Awaka, we have played 3 games this season. He has been the Window Depot glass cleaner of the game in all 3 of those games. And it is the Window Depot glass cleaner of the game. Who might that be tonight as the Wildcats take on the Duke Blue Devils? Might be the Wildcat with the most rebounds. Could be the U of A star with the most impactful boards. We will tell you the Window Depot glass cleaner of the game coming up a little bit later tonight on the post-game show. Lots of excitement starting to build. People are beginning to arrive here on the plaza. Again, stop on by. We are at the Jim Click Hall of Champions here on the plaza, just across from the Eddie Lynch Athletics Pavilion. You can come on by and be a part of the show tonight and give us your thoughts on what you think might happen. If you want to get in on the program, you can also respond to us. We are streaming this show right now on a number of different video platforms. We are streaming it on YouTube. We are on Facebook Live. We are also on Twitch, so you can watch the show on any of those. You can also interact with the show by way of message on any of those platforms. You can also interact with us on Twitter. Do that as well. And download our app. Download our app. In fact, why don't you I'll send you, if you want a link to download our app, text the word app to 520-848-1290, 520-848-1290. And I'll send you a link. You can download our app, and you can interact with us there as well. You can send us a text message on our app. You can send us audio if you want to talk about the game, if you want to verbalize your thoughts about what you've seen from Arizona basketball in these first 3 games. You can do that and then just drop that audio comment on our app, and we'll play it back over the air for you. Also, if you want to be on camera, film a video of yourself talking about the Arizona Wildcats. You can dump that down on our app. We'll get that, and we'll post that to our social media platforms. Let everybody see your thoughts on Arizona basketball. It is a absolutely beautiful night here in Tucson. We had 80-degree temperatures today, and again, it's been just festive all day outside. Folks lined up. The students have been here all day. I mentioned there were a lot of people that were fans that were outside for the teams as they came in for shoot-around. Kelvin, how did you calm yourself at shoot-around on a night like this when you knew you had a big game going on here at McHale Center?
Well, I wasn't getting a lot of playing time, so I wasn't nervous a lot of times going into these years. But when I was in those situations, though, man, you just go and get your warm up in. You go through your routine, man. I mean, these guys didn't just get here yesterday. I mean, these guys been working hard all their lives to get into this position. They've been in a lot of big games, especially some of our guys, that's been played here. So I think you just make sure you get your routine, make sure you get your sleep, get your meal and everything that you usually do, and just come in here and get your shots up, man, and just ready to go. More than anything, you ready for the lights to come on. Right. You ready to get going. Sitting around to 8 o'clock, it's like with football. When you have to play late games, man, you rather just get that game in early, man, so you can go and get it over with.
And K-Rock, that's what a routine is, right? So it's like in the middle of summer, you're doing your workout or whatever. We got morning of a huge game like this. You're just going to be doing your same business the same way, so that way you treat it as if it's just another day. You're getting your work in, getting your shots up. You don't want to get too high because you're going to need some of that emotion once it gets a little bit later in the game. You got to dig a little deep, right?
Because that's what you said in the beginning of the game, DK. You always run out of breath for these big games like this. We be looking for our second win. Like, you'd be like, man, come on, kick in. Because, man, I remember a few times when I did get in the game here, and I'm so excited I asked to come out.
Right.
I learned the lesson on that. I was like, wait a minute, I thought that was a good thing.
Right.
I'm tired of coming out there, but I'm never going back in.
Right.
Like, so don't ask to come out. No. Play through it, buddy.
There you go. All right, we're going to get another break in here. We'll come back. We'll get you your college basketball scoreboard. A few games on the docket tonight in the top 25, including a game that involves one of the teams from the Big 12, as once again Baylor is playing another team in the top 25 tonight. They've had those games dotted all over their early season schedule.
What they do.
Yes, exactly what they do. It is Meridian Wealth Management Arizona Game Day. We're coming to you from the Jim Click Hall of Fame, Hall of Champions Plaza, along with Kelvin Ifan and J.W. Madden. I'm David Kelly. You're listening to Wildcats Radio 1290.
That's today's Spotlight on a Cat has been brought to you by O'Reilly Chevrolet. Get more with O'Reilly Chevrolet. Our Window Depot coverage of Arizona basketball is just getting started. This is Meridian Wealth Management Arizona Game Day. Hour 1 of the pregame show is brought to you by Desert Diamond Casinos, First Chiropractic, Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care, Picture Rocks Cooling, Heating and Plumbing, Restaurant Supply Store, Royal GMC Buick and Cadillac, Royal Kia, Royal Jaguar Land Rover, the Polston Results Team with Keller Williams Southern Arizona, the Window Depot, and by Meridian Wealth Management. Wealth well managed, life well lived.
As Arizona's leading personal injury law firm for more than 35 years, Goldberg & Osborne agrees. Bear down, Arizona. With offices statewide, including Tucson and Sierra Vista, the Eagle gives you home field advantage. More than 2,200 five-star Google reviews prove Goldberg & Osborne has the playbook for any situation. So after an accident, let the attorneys voted best personal injury law firm 4 years in a row tackle that insurance company and get you the settlement you deserve. Goldberg & Osborne, 1-800-THE-EAGLE.
Honey, our yard's full of weeds. Looks like a jungle and the neighbors are complaining.
I know. I'm trying to get rid of them, but the product I'm using, it doesn't work. Not to mention, I don't have the time.
But it's not just weeds.
Not?
No, I'm seeing ants.
Ants?
Yeah, and spiders.
Ooh, spiders.
I know, and I think I saw a scorpion.
No way.
Yes way, and there's a pack rat in our garage.
Ew. Okay, I'll call University Termite and Pest Control today. We'll get rid of all of them.
Okay, honey, thank you.
University Termite and Pest Control, locally owned. Find them online at bepestfree.com.
Hi, this is Peter Costa, former governor of the New York Stock Exchange and proud member of the Advisory Business Council with Meridian Wealth Management. One thing I've learned over 40 years on the floor is the value of a trusting relationship with your financial advisor. After all, everyone is a genius when the markets are going up, but when they drop, that's when the guidance of a professional is most important. For more information about Meridian, call 719-1433 or visit online at meridianwealthllc.com.
Advisory services provided by Meridian Wealth Management, a registered investment advisor. Driving the lane, dunking on the competition, and playing as a team. These are things we'll see this season watching our Wildcats play basketball. These happen to be the things you'll also find when you buy your next vehicle from O'Reilly Chevrolet. The only difference is at O'Reilly, nobody gets penalized for traveling. Heck, we actually encourage it. See us on Broadway next to Park Place Mall. Call 747-8000 or find new roads at O'Reilly.com, where you can experience our version of a steal. O'Reilly Chevrolet, more than a great price.
O'Reilly Chevrolet.
Don't hold back. Just dive right in. This is Desert Diamond. The round-the-clock, off-the-charts, over-the-top spectacle that puts a shine on any day, anytime. The tables are hot to the touch. The slots are spinning winners every day. And the point spreads are yours for the taking. So go ahead. Live the diamond life. Desert Diamond Casino. Visit ddcaz.com.
An enterprise of the Tohono O'odham Nation.
2025 is bringing the biggest change to air conditioning in decades. New EPA regulations mean AC costs could rise by up to 25%. If you've been thinking about replacing your old AC, now's the time. Rightway is offering zero interest financing and a free furnace when you replace your AC this month. Don't wait till next year when prices go up. Call Rightway today for your free no obligation estimate. Call 520-549-2697.
The garage is more than a place to park your car. It holds prized possessions, and for most, it's a bustling entryway to the home. That's why LiftMaster designed the first ever opener with a built-in wide-angle camera and two-way audio, so you can see what matters and secure what's inside. Ensure your family and prized possessions are secure with a reliable garage door opener that's built to last and powered by MyQ for smartphone control. The team at Kaiser Garage Doors and Gates are your locally owned LiftMaster professionals. Visit KaiserGarage.com to learn more.
You want to protect her. You'll give anything to make sure nothing harms her. Every minute together makes unforgettable memories. Except that time you parked her under that tree and...
Oh, come on, man. Really?
Sorry, we'll never speak of it again. But remember who came to her rescue? Recon Auto Detailing. Arizona's premier auto detailing company comes directly to you. We'll make your masterpiece shine like it should, and with a monthly maintenance package, we'll keep it that way. Recon Auto Detailing. Online at recondetail.com.
KCUB Tucson, a Cumulus media station. You're listening to the flagship of Arizona Wildcats athletics. This is Wildcats Radio 1290. Wildcat Nation, are you ready?
Krivas turnaround, gets it off, and it rolls in for two. Oh my! KJ Lewis slams it home. Stolen away by Bradley. Caleb on a breakaway windmill jam.
Arizona basketball never sleeps.
Bear down, Cats. Our Window Depot coverage of U of A basketball continues. The Meridian Wealth Management Arizona Game Day pregame show is brought to you by Meridian Wealth Management. Wealth well managed, life well lived. We're getting closer to tip-off for today's Arizona basketball game. This is Wildcats Radio 1290.
Top of the circle, drives into the lane to the bucket and lays it in, and we are all even in Madison. KJ Lewis with his third basket of the half. Timeout, Wisconsin. Arizona's come back from 18 down to tie this game up.
KJ Lewis making a statement last week. 15 points, 4 rebounds in the game against the Wisconsin Badgers. Comes in averaging 12 points on the season, 6 assists to 3 turnovers for the sophomore guard out of El Paso, Texas, and Duncanville High School that final season over in the Dallas area. Welcome back to Meridian Wealth Management Arizona Game Day. Sounds like the kids are down there making a little bit of noise here at the arena. We've got Priscilla Muggo out there somewhere amongst the kids. Hopefully we'll get a chance to hear from a few of them coming up here a little bit later. Let's let you know, hour number 2 of the show. We've got 2 more hours with you. We'll take you till right around 8 o'clock, and then Brian Jeffries and Ryan Hansen take over, and we'll have you right up to tip-off here tonight, 8:30 tip-off of the Wildcats and the Duke Blue Devils. Let's let you know what we've got coming up in this hour of the program.
Let's take a look at the Right Way Rundown and see what's coming up on our pregame show. Brought to you by Right Way Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing. Do things the right way.
All right, we are going to hear from Jaden Bradley as well as Tommy Lloyd. We were just talking about the lineup and what it might look like, whether you're starting Toby Awaka or Mo Krivas. We'll dive into a little bit about the different options that this team has with the many lineups that they can throw out there. So we'll hear from Jaden and Tommy, as well as we're going to get you your scoreboard here coming up in this segment. Matt Muehlbach will join us in the next segment at about 6:20 or so. We'll hear from the legendary Wildcat guard who had a chance to play in a number of these matchups against the Duke Blue Devils back in the heyday when these guys played 4 straight years in the late 80s and early 90s.
Oh, by the way, those 4 straight years, Duke went to the Final Four.
Yeah.
Those are some good Duke teams back then.
Yes,
4
they were.
consecutive Final Fours.
Yes, they were. Also coming up later in this hour, DK with TL, sponsored by nobody. Let's take a look at your scoreboard and what's happening around college basketball tonight.
Let's take a look at what's happening today around the rest of the country. Scoreboard is brought to you by Goldberg and Osborne. Goldberg and Osborne, the injury lawyers.
All right, how about a game earlier this week involving a former Arizona Wildcat?
Taken out of there, the Illini. Riley to Boswell. Top of the key, three is good! Boswell hits the three. The Illini within 9. Timeout, Alabama.
You know, Kevin, we had talked earlier in the week that the numbers were not necessarily looking all that good through the early part of the season for one young Kylan Boswell, who made the transfer out of Arizona to Illinois, but 17 points the other night on the road as Illinois went down to Birmingham and put up 100 to beat the Bama Crimson Tide.
Well, I always say it takes a little time when you're trying to mesh with a new group of guys. So it takes a little time to figure out where your role and where to get your buckets at. And I think he was trying to respect that, and now he's starting to figure out his spots where he can pick his spots and do his thing at. So it's just a matter of time. That kid been in a lot of big games here at this, I say at the expense of Arizona, but
right.
Through his experience at Arizona, he's been through a lot of big games, and it should help him out at Illinois.
And K-Rock, Kylan, the more simple he keeps it, the better. Right? You're open, you shoot. You're not open, you don't shoot.
Yeah.
If he just stays out of his own head, that kid's got such a nice stroke. He's going to be just fine. So I'm not surprised to see him score 17 on the road and get a win. He's a very quality young man, good basketball player. This just wasn't the right fit for him. So I wish him the best.
Yes, sir.
All right, 3 finals are on the board right now. 19th ranked Wisconsin knocks off Central Florida 86-70, so the Badgers keep their train rolling. That win over Arizona last Friday night got them into the top 25, and they get a win at the Greenbrier tip-off tournament. I believe that was down in West Virginia, and doesn't look like a big night tonight for Mr. Tangier, but more balanced scoring. Let's see how many free throws they shot tonight.
Yeah,
just off
I was wondering how did he play.
They only shot 16 free throws tonight. 12 of 16, but they did knock down 10 threes, so they keep shooting the three-pointer pretty well. And then it's like they're a little bit like Arizona. They got a number of different guys who can knock down that three-point shot for Wisconsin. So a good start to the year for them as they now are 6-0, and that's the first loss of the year for the Knights of Central Florida, who we'll see later in the season. Also in the Big 12 tonight, Oklahoma State has beaten Miami by a score of 80-74. And it was Marcellus Avery, 15 points and 8 rebounds in that game. Utah knocked off Utah Tech tonight, 84-53. These are scores in the Big 12 that we're giving you right now. 3 games in progress. Texas Tech leading Syracuse 38-37. 7th-ranked Houston just 2-1 on the season. They've only played 3 games so far. They're up 7-zip early at home against Hofstra. Kansas State also has a loss already on the year, and they're at home against George Washington tonight, leading that game early. We mentioned there was another top game involving 2 top 25 teams tonight, and that is Baylor on the road at Toby Awaka's. Actually, this is not in Tennessee. This is actually down at the other Atlantis event this week down in the Bahamas. And Baylor is playing Tennessee, 13th-ranked Bears, and Tennessee. That game will tip off here in about an hour and a half at 7:30 tonight. Arizona, of course, will be headed down to the Bahamas next week for the tournament at Atlantis, and that should be a fun event of 3 straight days of basketball there.
It should be. Last time it wasn't so fun.
Last time it was not so fun.
Hey, Kelvin, did you hear the big Syracuse news this week?
About LaMelo?
Melo's boy going to Syracuse. We grew up in that era with Georgetown, Syracuse. Those are some of the dominant teams. I'd like to see Syracuse back up there in that conversation.
Yeah, no, I'm not surprised that he went there. I think he's smart. As LaMelo said himself, he said that this kid has been following the blueprint, so a part of that blueprint is going to Syracuse.
Yeah, got to.
All right, let's hear a little bit. Again, we were talking about the lineups and first of all, we'll wrap that up. That's your scoreboard for the moment.
Scoreboard is brought to you by Goldberg and Osborne. Goldberg and Osborne, the injury lawyers.
The real Wildcat.
And we got a young lady here with a Kentucky Wildcats shirt on. We need their good luck tonight that they beat Duke already once this season.
She got the memo. She's wearing white.
Right. Well, there you go. We'll make it 2 Wildcat victories over the Blue Devils if we can get that done.
Okay, she got Arizona.
She's got
it's on her heart. Arizona's on her heart.
All right, she's got both her Wildcats on tonight. All right, that will work for sure. Let's hear from the head coach Tommy Lloyd. Actually, let's hear from Jaden Bradley first. Jaden talking about the different options that the Wildcats have with the lineups that they can roll out there.
Definitely in a different place with different guys, different players. So, all just trying to get used to playing with each other. Different lineups. We got so many lineups we can go with. We got Carter, we got Deli, we got Tobe, we got Conrad. So, whatever coach wants at that moment, we're going to try to, go out there and play hard.
Absolutely. I mean, again, that's we've got obviously the main 3 guys that you've got in terms of your guards in Caleb Love and KJ Lewis and then Jaden Bradley and then Trey Townsend obviously has been a guy that has moved into that starting spot, but that could also easily be a Henry Vesar. That's playing that spot because he gives you a little bit something different as well. So you've got a number of different rotations right now that Tommy can choose to go with. And I think I think this might be the first time in a while that he's had this many guys where he's still trying to get a feel for what everybody can give him. And I think we're seeing that also with Anthony Del Orso, who he kind of categorized this week as still trying to figure out this level.
Yeah, no, I think he has a few different ways to go, but I always get back to what can you guard? What is the other team doing? Like when you see a team like Duke tonight with basically 4 guards out on the perimeter, how do you have 2 7-footers out there? Which 7-footer could guard Cooper Flagg? So it's more about the opponents. You have to be able to match up with those guys. You can't just say I'm going to play my guys and hope that they be able to work it out. Defensively, you have to be able to guard the people that you're going to play against.
Big guards too, right? Big, a real big. Kelvin, I got a question. Everybody, I think, could even look at just the roster and the different guys and think to yourself, man, you could really go big, you could go small, you could go medium. All these options, that's so great. What are the negatives about having so many different options and being able to play so many different styles when you're mixing in new personalities and trying to maybe define what it is that your personality of your team is?
Trying to figure that out. I mean, because you have so many different weapons to go to, so you're always kind of questioning yourself, what group. So that's one of the things I like about Lloyd. As we talked before, when he got here, he usually keeps the same lineup. I think he's only made one lineup change in his 3 years. So whatever starting group it is at the beginning of the year, usually that goes throughout the year.
So what you're saying is they earn those spots 2 months before the first.
They earn those spots, and then you got to hold on to them the way you play. I think they did Pella for Cedric Henderson.
Right.
That was the only change. I mean, and we know Pella could handle it because of the guy.
He was 6th man of the year the year before, right?
There it is. So I just think that he has a tough job trying to figure out how you play so many talented guys. But I always say that's a good problem to have at this level, especially bigs, DK. Having those bigs always ready to go, you never know when you're going to need them.
All right, let's hear from the head coach, Tommy Lloyd, on how he's trying to figure out all these different rotations.
We're figuring it out, and, I don't feel unsettled. I just want to make sure guys, are getting opportunities I think they've earned. And you know what? The tough thing in this business, and maybe, John and I are saying the same thing, is, guys can earn the opportunity, but sometimes it just doesn't happen, for whatever reason. Right. But that doesn't mean it won't happen over the course of the season. So, I'm keeping my eyes on our guys, and I think we're okay. I'm not sensing anything to tell me otherwise.
Roll with the hot hand, right?
Yeah. No, you definitely have to roll with the hot hand, and it's tough, man. You want guys to be hungry, and you want them to be wanting to play. That's a part of it, because you never know when you're going to really need them. An injury happens, a tweaked ankle, foul trouble like they had the other day. Things happen, so you always have to be ready to go.
And I think of guys like Conrad Martinez, right? He's talking about guys who have earned minutes but maybe those minutes aren't there. You're talking about how stacked that guard lineup is coming back. Just because a guy's not getting minutes in the game doesn't mean they're not proving that they deserve minutes in practice. It's just all about lineups, all about situational stuff and the opponent.
All right, it is Meridian Wealth Management Arizona Game Day. We've got folks on the plaza joining us now. Come on up. They got Chick-fil-A over there. I might have to go get me a Chick-fil-A sandwich. They've got some pretty Sonoran dog, he says. Get a Sonoran dog. I'm not a big Sonoran. He's like, don't support Chick-fil-A. I'm not a big hot dog fan. I think I ate too many hot dogs when I used to work in professional baseball, so I don't really eat those anymore.
Is there anything else to eat if you work professional baseball?
Not when you're right out of college and you don't have a lot of money.
Lukewarm nacho cheese.
You'll take that free hot dog every single night when it's your first job in professional baseball. But you'll quickly stop eating those once you get a little bit further along. It is Meridian Wealth Management Arizona Game Day. Matt Muehlbach is going to join us. We'll talk to him. It's your view from courtside coming up. Kaiser Garage Door and Gates brings you that. That's right, Mr. Triple-Double, Matt Muehlbach. And he played in this game. He played in this series, played in a number of these games. Looking forward to hearing Matt talk about that and get his perspective on Arizona versus Duke. I've got J.W. Madden and the captain, Kelvin Ifan, here with me on site. Dragon Ball is running the ship back in the studios at the CNWT. Much more coming for you straight ahead here live from the plaza. You're listening to Wildcats Radio 1290.
Our Window Depot coverage of Arizona basketball is getting you closer to tip-off. This is Meridian Wealth Management Arizona Game Day. Hour 2 of the pregame show is brought to you by Dave & Buster's Tucson, Dorado Rock, Goodfellas AC, Humane Society of Southern Arizona, Lexus of Tucson,
No, it's
Recon
all self-contained.
Auto
It's
Detail,
self-contained.
Right Way Heating,
So
Cooling,
it
and
leads in
Plumbing,
and then it
Rocking
closes out.
KA Master Plan Community designed by nature, University Termite and Pest Control, and by Meridian Wealth Management. Wealth well managed, life well lived.
Think of waking up with energy, standing tall and feeling free. Think First Chiropractic, good health is to enjoy.
First Chiropractic is pleased to announce that Access Health Plans now cover chiropractic care. A referral by your PCP is required. For more information, go to firstchiro.com, the most trusted name in chiropractic care. A proud U of A radio sponsor.
First Chiropractic, good health is to enjoy.
Does it feel like the price of everything is going up, up, up? We can't control the price of gas or groceries, but at Royal Kia, we never add market adjustments, even while other dealers add fees because inventory is limited. At Royal Kia, you can rest assured you won't pay market adjustments, and we stand by our transparent online pricing. Royal Kia, the dealership that's different. OAC plus tax, title, license, dealer installed options, and $529 doc fee. Royal Kia, Speedway in Columbus or royalkia.com.
Do you often worry you left your garage door open? With the LiftMaster Garage Door Opener powered by MyQ, you'll never worry again. You can control, secure, and monitor your garage from your smartphone anytime from anywhere through the MyQ app. As an authorized LiftMaster dealer, we have smart openers designed for your needs, including belt drive motors for ultra-quiet operation, integrated camera for live video streaming, and battery backup that lets you in when the power is out. The team at Kaiser Garage Doors and Gates are your locally owned LiftMaster professionals. Visit kaisergarage.com to learn more.
Did you know collecting sports cards is one of the fastest growing hobbies around? Whether you're looking to start or expand your collection, Showtime Cards is your ultimate destination. As one of the leading card shops in the country, they've been serving our community for over 25 years with the best in sports cards and trading card games. From rare finds to the latest releases, Showtime Cards has it all. Check them out at ShowtimeCards.com or visit them today at 5801 East Speedway. And discover why collectors everywhere trust Showtime Cards for their passion. Cool Willie's Air and Plumbing. Always trust the big guy. Mention your Wildcats and receive $50 off any repair at CoolWillies.com. Cool Willie's is proud to be a partner of the University of Arizona Wildcats radio broadcast. Two powerful teams working hard for you to get the job done right every day. Cool Willie's Air and Plumbing. Big enough to help, small enough to care. Remember to mention your Wildcats and receive $50 off any repair. CoolWillies.com.
Experiencing the natural wonders comes easy at Rocking K. Nestled at the base of the Rincon Mountain foothills, enjoy stunning mountain views up close every day. In the top-rated Vail School District, Rocking K is close to work, shopping, and services. Tour 18 model homes by top-tier builders, offering move-in ready homes and special incentives. LiveRockingK.com. Proud U of A radio broadcast sponsor.
JT Auto, where customers are family. Trust your vehicle to JT Auto professional and reliable automotive repair and maintenance services. JT Auto is conveniently located off Fort Lowell and Country Club. Open Monday through Friday. JT Auto is a full-service auto shop with satisfaction guaranteed, offering you the best in tires and wheels, auto repair, oil changes, computer diagnostics, suspension and brake service, and heating and AC. Bring your car to JT Auto, where customers are family. 623-7066. That's 623-7066.
You want to protect her. You'll give anything to make sure nothing harms her. Every minute together makes unforgettable memories. Except that time you parked her under that tree and...
Oh, come on, man. Really?
Sorry, we'll never speak of it again. But remember who came to her rescue? Recon Auto Detailing. Arizona's premier auto detailing company comes directly to you. We'll make your masterpiece shine like it should, and with a monthly maintenance package, we'll keep it that way. Recon Auto Detailing. Online at recondetail.com.
Our Window Depot coverage of U of A basketball continues. This is the Meridian Wealth Management Arizona Game Day pregame show on Wildcats Radio 1290. Now back to your hosts, David Kelly, the captain Kelvin Ifan, and J.W. Madden. It's time now to take you down the front row of the arena. A view from courtside is brought to you by Kaiser Garage Door and Gates. Kaiser, celebrating 25 years serving Southern Arizona.
And he won't be calling the game tonight, but he knows a little bit about this rivalry. Arizona basketball guard Matt Muehlbach, class of 1991. He was on the floor the last time that these Duke Blue Devils were here in Tucson. And Matt, what do you remember about that night so long ago?
DK, thanks for having me on, man. You know, I'll tell you, like, it was as big a deal back then, at least it seemed like, as it is now. Like, it was Duke, you know, and Duke, you know, moved the meter and still does. And, you know, we had actually played them 3 years in a row. So this was the fourth game in a 4-year span. So there was you know, the rivalry was brewing, and it was, you know, kind of in the middle of it. We had beaten them in McHale. We had beaten them in New Jersey at the Meadowlands. They had beaten us that year before at Duke by 2 points in Cameron. So we were coming back, you know, back to Tucson, and you know, it was huge. And it was weird too, because, and I'd say the one weird thing was, I think if my memory is correct, it was like in the middle of February, and so we're in the middle of conference. They're in the middle of conference. It was probably a week maybe where we played ASU. So it was a real unique game. Not that this isn't in November. I mean, but it just, I think anytime you get two, you know, powerhouses, and I think the other thing that was very compelling about it, and as compelling about this one as well, is just the cross-country route. You just don't see very often, you know, these really high-end top 10 programs that schedule a home and home. And, you know, from a super duper powerhouse ACC team, same with a PAC team, now a Big 12 team. And I think so it just created this really compelling rivalry and big game.
You know, you brought back a memory for me, Matt. Obviously, we went to school during the same time frame in both in the Pac-12. That week when you played your rival, there was often that second game, and it was usually a pretty big game. You would schedule a big Power 5 school. We didn't call it Power 5 back in those days, but a big conference school from another part of the country. And when schools really don't do that anymore, and I think I'd love to see something like that come back in college basketball, to get a chance to play a huge game like that in the middle of your conference season would be really cool. Who did you guard? Who do you remember guarding in those teams?
That's a really interesting question because I played different positions for a few years. I was playing the 1 or the 2 a lot, and depending on certain matchups there was a time where I was playing the 2 a lot, but I was playing the 2. So Matt Othick, my buddy, my good pal, he was guarding Bobby most of the game. And I guarded Bobby a lot. I'd get on him. I probably guarded him a lot more the year before because I was playing a lot more 1 that season than that year. But so I think I guarded. They had 2 guys named the Davis. We call them the Davis brothers, although they weren't even related. And so I guarded one of them, and I guarded actually kind of an interesting thing. Obviously, Christian McCaffrey, as great a player, one of the great players in the NFL right now. So his dad, Ed McCaffrey, Ed's brother, and I'm forgetting his name right now. Ed's brother played at Duke, McCaffrey, and I can't remember his first name, but he was a great player, and played I think a lot of years in Australia as a pro, and so I guarded him a lot, and we'd switch on to guys. The crazy part of that, I'll tell you, one of the craziest things was Grant Hill was a freshman on that team. And so, Bobby Hurley and Christian Laettner, of course, was I believe a junior or senior. Laettner was a junior. They got all the press. It was sort of the Hurley Laettner show. And little did you know, we're watching tape and I'm like, who the hell is this guy? That looks like Sean Elliott, but better, and he's a freshman, and now that's Grant Hill. Like, who's going to guard this guy? And he was, it's funny too because he wasn't dominant in terms of like his impact on every game in terms of like what he was, even a year later than that or 2 years later, and a couple years later he was the number 1 pick in the draft. So, I mean, but on such a great team, he was just this freshman, and once you got in the game though. I'm looking around like, holy crap, this is the best. This is going to be the best player on the floor in a few years.
We're chatting with U of A basketball alum and TV analyst Matt Muehlbach, guard from the class of 1991. It's our View from Courtside, brought to you by Kaiser Garage Door and Gates. Kaiser, serving Arizona for more than 25 years. Did you guys hate Christian did you guys hate Christian Laettner? I mean, was it that type of feeling, or did you have like just the respect of him as being a really great player?
It's a really good question because I will answer that also with, another question would be, did we hate Duke? Because Arizona fans have come to dislike Duke so much. And I'll tell you, as a player, like, I totally just respected him. I loved this mini rivalry that was occurring, and we didn't play him at that point. We hadn't played him in the tournament or anything, NCAA tournament. But I had no problem with Laettner. Like, I didn't guard him, so he didn't bother me. He didn't really. My good friend Don McClain for UCLA. That's who I hated. Like Don talked incessantly during the game, and back when we had our rivalries, and Christian really didn't say much. He was pretty cool. Bobby was super cool. Bobby barely, Bobby just played, man. He played hard and barely said a word. He never said a word to me at all. Like, never talked trash or anything. That team was, in a lot of ways, we felt like we were watching a mirror image. They had incredibly high character guys. Coach K was an incredible coach, high character coach. And just the way they played, though, they played the right way. They played so hard. And in fact, I'd say in my 4 years, there wasn't a team that played, maybe the Vegas teams of 90 and 91, but no one played as hard as Vegas or that Duke team, those Duke teams. They played so incredibly hard, and they were just fierce competitors. And I remember after the double overtime game, I felt pretty good during the regulation. Actually, because I think because of just the hype and everything, felt fine during both overtimes. And I'll never forget after the second overtime that night, I mean, I just collapsed for about 3 days. It felt like I think. Apologies to my teachers. Like the next 2 days, I think I'd never done this, but I think I just skipped class for like 2 days. I was so physically and mentally like shot, you know, and that was because so much emotion and physicality and so forth. But it made it like, to me, I look back, maybe the most fun game I ever played in ever, and for sure, I'd probably say for sure at McHale Center.
What Matt? What kind of impresses you about this young freshman, Cooper Flagg?
Well, I was lucky enough to be in Vegas when the USA team was there, and I hooked up with my buddy Kerr, and I went over there and watched him play. I saw him play against, the U.S. Olympic team, and I guess to answer your question, what just impressed me at that time was I can't believe a kid of this age is so comfortable playing against, dream team players. He just looked like he seemed very indifferent about it, didn't seem nervous, and he seemed very aggressive. He wasn't at all tentative, he just was like, oh, okay. Like he was playing anybody, but it happened to be Kevin Durant that was guarding him. And he was like taking it at guys and, and I think his ability to shoot threes, because when you have a guy of that size, that once you can shoot the three, which he was doing, and he handles it, and it was the combination of the size, shooting. He could do everything, and I'm looking at him, he's like 17, 18 years old, so it blew me away. And I didn't even know who he was at first, and then asked somebody and found out, but yeah, he's pretty special. I think for everybody, he's still a freshman, right? Even though he played against that dream team, I mean, he's still trying to figure things out, and just like anybody, is like a guy like Carter Bryant who's so talented. It takes time.
It's our view from courtside with U of A basketball alum Matt Muehlbach, class of 1991, brought to you by Kaiser Garage Door and Gates. Kaiser, serving Arizona for more than 25 years. Matt, we want to take you on a little walk down memory lane right now.
Not a bad record. Hasn't lost a game in 4 years at home, Matt Muehlbach.
That's a remarkable thing to be able to brag about when you're 60 years old.
Oh, wow.
Are you still bragging about that, Matt?
I knew right away, I think, where that was going. I remember that years later. I think I didn't of course know about it during the game. I didn't know about it after the game. No one told me about it. And years later, I was watching the replay, and I heard him say that, and I'm like, damn, I'm getting pretty close to that age right now. Like that, it's coming to fruition. It's actually happening. Keith Jackson called it. And I remember Keith Jackson and Dick Vitale did the game. That made it even more special. Jay Billis is doing the game with, I think, Dan, is it, I'm blanking right now. Dan, they're two of the best announcers in all of sports, not only just college basketball, but all of sports. And so that's going to give it, I think, the hype and what it deserves from the announcers. But, Keith Jackson, Dick Vitale, they were two of the icons of the time. And I remember them talking to me before the game about the home streak. And, do a little math on our calendar. Like I said, so that was late in the year. I think that was in February. And we only had about 3 games left. And, looking at our schedule, it looked like we were probably going to win those 3, at least on paper. So that was the game. And Duke knew that we had the streak. I don't think they knew much about my streak as a player, but they knew we had the streak, and they put everything they had to try and knock us out because of the streak. And, that was probably my last. We were down at the end. It looked bleak with about 30 seconds to go, and somehow the McHale magic came through.
Well, let's hope we get some McHale magic here to get another win. Dan Schulman is who will be calling the game.
Yeah, Schulman
with Jay Billis here. And I saw Jay. I walked right by him at outside of McHale Center. He was in there getting his pre-work in. Hey, Matt, we appreciate you taking some time to join us. Look forward to talking to you again as the season goes along.
Thanks, DK. Appreciate it. It's going to be an amazing night.
It is.
Appreciate it.
We hope you enjoyed your view from courtside. It was brought to you by Kaiser Garage Door and Gates. Kaiser, celebrating 25 years serving Southern Arizona.
Are you facing plumbing problems and need a reliable solution? Whether it's a leaky faucet, a clogged drain, or an upgrade to a tankless water heater, Rightway has you covered. And for a limited time only, we're offering 10% off your next repair or installation. Don't let plumbing issues ruin your day. Call Rightway at 520-276-2775. We'll get a plumber to your door. If it's worth doing, do it the right way.
As Arizona's leading personal injury law firm for more than 35 years, Goldberg & Osborne agrees. Bear down, Arizona. With offices statewide, including Tucson and Sierra Vista, the Eagle gives you home field advantage. More than 2,200 five-star Google reviews prove Goldberg & Osborne has the playbook for any situation. So after an accident, let the attorneys voted best personal injury law firm 4 years in a row tackle that insurance company and get you the settlement you deserve. Goldberg & Osborne, 1-800-THE Eagle.
Sean Furrier here for Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care, a proud sponsor of Arizona Athletics since 1968. And this year, the Wildcats are driving into the Big 12. But we've been down this road before. From the WAC to the PAC, it's never been about the conference. It's always been about the Wildcats. And you can count on the Cats. And you can count on Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care for the very best deals on tires and award-winning auto care. Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care, since 1960, we're here to get you there. Go Cats!
Hi, this is Tim Couch, retired NFL quarterback for the Cleveland Browns, partner at Meridian Wealth Management, and proud member of Meridian's Tucson Advisory Business Council. It's my favorite time of year, college football season. I've always been a proud Wildcat. As our firm has grown in Tucson with Ruben and Natalie Fernandez, I now cheer on 2 Wildcats every year. My alma mater of Kentucky, of course, and our U of A Cats. Here's to a great football season, and go Cats.
Advisory services provided by Meridian Wealth Management, a registered investment advisor.
Honey, our yard's full of weeds. Looks like a jungle and the neighbors are complaining.
I know. I'm trying to get rid of them, but the product I'm using, it doesn't work.
Oh.
Not to mention, I don't have the time.
But it's not just weeds.
It's not?
No, I'm seeing ants.
Ants?
Yeah, and spiders.
Ooh, spiders.
I know, and I think I saw a scorpion.
No way.
Yes way, and there's a pack rat in our garage.
Ew. Okay, I'll call University Termite and Pest Control today. We'll get rid of all of them.
Okay, honey, thank you.
University Termite and Pest Control, locally owned. Find them online at bepestfree.com.
The garage is more than a place to park your car. It holds prized possessions, and for most, it's a bustling entryway to the home. That's why LiftMaster designed the first ever opener with a built-in wide-angle camera and two-way audio, so you can see what matters and secure what's inside. Ensure your family and prized possessions are secure with a reliable garage door opener that's built to last and powered by MyQ for smartphone control. The team at Kaiser Garage Doors and Gates are your locally owned LiftMaster professionals. Visit kaisergarage.com to learn more.
Get year-end savings during the Kia Season of New Traditions at Royal Kia. Make no payments for 90 days on select Kia models, like the 2025 Kia Carnival Hybrid, and save big with the Royal Trade-In Bonus. Lease the all-new 2025 Kia K4 for $343 a month for 36 months with zero due at signing and all taxes and fees included. Or get APR financing as low as 0% for up to 72 months on the 24 Kia EV6 or Kia EV9. Hurry in for these year-end savings. Carnival K31051, K4 K30896, EV6 K31059, EV9 K30792. OAC plus tax, title, license, dealer installed options, and $529 doc fee. Must finance with Kia Motors Finance. Leases $650 acquisition fee. No security deposit. Mileage charge of 20 cents per mile over 10,000 miles per year. See dealer for details. Offers end 1/3/25. Get year-end savings now at Royal Kia, Speedway in Columbus, or royalkia.com.
Our Window Depot coverage of U of A basketball continues. This is the Meridian Wealth Management Arizona Game Day pregame show on Wildcats Radio 1290. Now back to your hosts, David Kelly, the captain Kelvin Ifan, and J.W. Madden.
Here's Love, 3 balls straight away for the Wildcats. Rims out, no good. Waka, the rebound, and he'll slam it home.
Muscling and out-muscling those Golden Griffins for an offensive putback.
Toby Owaka, that's what he does, and we've talked about that ad nauseum already tonight. A guy that can crash the offensive glass and get his points already this season. 19 offensive rebounds to 8 defense, 18 I should say. 19 offensive rebounds to 18 defensive rebounds. Do you think he can keep that going all season long? Has anybody ever had more offensive rebounds than defensive rebounds? I don't know about that.
Ben Wallace, maybe? Yeah, they right there together, man. I mean, it don't seem like there's no stopping them.
Not at all. It's time now for DK with TL. And as always, that is sponsored by Nobody. How about Toby Awaka's defensive, or really his overall ability to rebound, Tommy? Do you think that has rubbed off on the other bigs on this team?
I mean, you hope it's contagious, but, like, rebound is something we coach every day. So, I don't want to –
When you said after the game, Tommy, that the team did not adjust, though, to the way that they were calling the game, what does that adjustment look like? Is that less aggressive defense, or is that just how you play it?
Probably just being cleaner. I'm sure there's some fouls there that, you just wish you wouldn't have had. You could have been a little cleaner with your hands and your positioning, things like that. But, hey, we're a physical team, and, we're not going to run away from that. We built our team a certain way, and we always have, and, it just didn't go our way that day.
What makes Cooper Flagg so special?
Man, listen, I only know him pretty much from afar, but I think you're just impressed with his competitiveness, how talented he is, how he impacts the game in so many ways, but he really does it, by making a lot of simple plays. I mean, he's not a guy that seems to overcomplicate things, and, he's a 6'9" guy with a live body and great instincts and great IQ. He's got great hands. He's definitely, they're putting him in a position where he's being a bit of a playmaker, and he's thriving in that role with the ball in his hands. So, yeah, he's just a really, really, really good player who has a really bright future.
That is your head coach, Tommy Lloyd. DK with TL, as always, sponsored by Nobody. If you want to sponsor that segment, please do give us a call, 520-887-1000. You can be the sponsor of DK with TL, or maybe DK with BB. My questions weekly to the head coaches of the Arizona Wildcats basketball and football program. So during the time that we heard Tommy talking, our guy Dragon Ball informed us that former Oklahoma City Thunder big man Steven Adams not only once but twice had more offensive rebounds than defensive rebounds. 2017 and 18, he had 384 offensive rebounds to 301 defensive rebounds. And then the next year he did it again with 391 offensive rebounds to 369 rebounds.
It'd have to be a dude who wasn't really offensively motivated, Kelvin, because you're talking about on the offensive side. I mean, offensive rebounds wise, you're really just in there trying to milk it up because
He averaged about
gonna
14 points a game.
Yeah, but he never hit a single 20-foot jump shot in his whole life. I mean, have you watched the NBA these days? Like, that's not what Steven Adams does. I guarantee you, almost all of those. How many was it? 14. I guarantee you, 70% of those points came on putbacks from offensive rebounds.
Right. And the thing with those guys is they do their work early. You go back and you look at Steven Adams. He's pushing guys around early, getting into position on the backside so he can get that rebound. It's all about getting the work done early.
Did you see Victor Wembanyama try to box out Steven Adams a couple weeks back? Oh, man. It was like a one-arm kind of, okay, get back to your playpen, buddy.
That wasn't the guy that knocked him out.
No,
that was
no.
What's his name from the Lakers?
No, Steven Adams held him off with one hand and casually put the ball up with the other hand. Yes. Wemby needs to put on a little bit more weight.
Steven Adams still doing his thing here in the National Basketball Association. So definitely good to see that right there. All right, we are out on the Champions Plaza. I don't think the doors have opened quite yet. I thought they opened at 6:30, but maybe they don't open until closer to 7. But either that or maybe folks are just kind of hanging out here before they go in to get ready. And I'm sure warm-ups are happening, and it seems like things have quieted down on the other side of the wall by where the kids were hanging out. We're going to hear shortly coming up, maybe in the next segment, we'll hear from a few members of the Zona Zoo who were out there standing in line since 7 o'clock this morning. They slept here overnight last night. I don't know what the movies were. We knew one of the movies we heard from the athletics director was in fact going to be Space Jam 2. Is that what she said? She said Space Jam 2 was going to be one of the movies, and nobody voted on that one in our poll. So I'm interested to see how that one went over. But I saw some of the pictures. I don't know if you guys saw some of the pictures. People there, I guess they allowed the kids to bring like small cots or portable cots into McHale Center last night. So there was it wasn't like they were sleeping on sleeping bags on the floor. Some of those kids were actually pretty comfortable looking at their McHale last night.
Hey, I mean, that's a hardcore, Kelvin.
Yeah, no, they was prepared. That's prepared college students, huh? So they was prepared for it. I wonder what they're going to do for Kansas.
Oh, well, that won't be this year.
Yeah, next year, unfortunately.
That's right.
That won't be this year. That'll be. Well, they got a year to figure that one out. They got a year for that to figure that one out for sure. All right, let's find out right now who that kid from the Blue Devil that wears the Blue Devil jersey might be that gets most underneath the Wildcats' skin tonight.
Who is today's Pest of the Game? The Pest of the Game is brought to you by University Termite and Pest Control. Check them out at BePestFree.com.
All right, Pests of the Game tonight. We'll start with J-Dub since this is your maiden voyage here.
I want to let Kelvin go first because I don't want to steal Kelvin's pick. How's
that? All right. There you go. Okay. So to me in this game, I say Tyrese Proctor is going to be my guy because a 6'6" guard. We had trouble with a 6'6" guard that could shoot the ball and get into the lane the last game. So I think that he's going to be a problem. He's a guy that can shoot threes. He has length to shoot over our guys because he's a little taller than our guys. So I think he could be a matchup problem.
Yeah, great pick. I think you could pick any of the freshmen, but I'm going to go with the other backcourt guy, Caleb Foster. I just think, you talk about the Duke Blue Devils lost 10 players from last year's roster, not bringing much back, but those two guys, Kelvin, those are the veterans. They've been around a bit. They know what hostile environments are like, so they're going to be the ones rallying the troops. You're going to see the freshmen. You're going to hear a lot of freshmen names tonight from Mr. Brian Jeffries while he's calling this game, but I think those two upperclassmen guards are the guys, so I'll go with Caleb Foster.
All right, well, it would be easy to go with a defensive guy who's always also an offensive guy like the star Cooper Flag, but I'm going to go with Malik Brown off the bench. Malik Brown, a guy that can get some steals. He has 5 steals on the season. That's third on this team, and he also can block shots. He's third on the team in block shots. So a guy that, I like those guys that come off the bench, maybe 6th, 7th man and kind of step up to the plate. So I'm going to go with Malik Brown.
He's a Syracuse
transfer,
right? I think he plays a couple years of Syracuse.
Yeah, and it's interesting because when we talk about, the transfer portal now, you've got, and you're right, out of Culpeper, Virginia, played at Syracuse. Even a school like this has a number of transfers. They've got 5 guys. They've got transfers from Syracuse, Stanford, Purdue, Tulane, and Rice.
At the times, DK. You got to keep up.
Kelvin, we don't have time to get on this right now, but you got that motivation. You got the ego coming in. You think, I'm going to be here for 6 months. I'm going to be going and getting my name called in the first 13 of that draft. If that doesn't go down that way, that might not be the stop where maybe you got – and then guess what? New crops coming in. So you got Cooper Flagg coming in, Con Knuppel coming in. All of a sudden, those minutes you might have had last year, you're asking yourself, am I going to get minutes over these kids? That's why you're seeing – I mean, a place like Duke, you never would have seen 10 guys leave. A couple guys went to the draft. 3 guys, I think, went to the draft. 7 guys transferred. That's just unheard of at a place like Duke. But, again, in the NIL transfer window era, it's going to happen when you're going to find guys get over-recruited over where the minutes coming. You only have so many minutes you can pass around, DK.
Oh, well, wait a minute now. If he's going to take a picture, he's got to put the headsets on, too. Do some talk. Got to put the headsets on there, man. You got to put the headset on there right there, young man. Put the headset on there, young man. We'll get his thoughts on about the – yeah, that's right. So put that on there, and then we'll have you put that mic down over your mouth so everybody can hear you. What's your name?
My name is Jackson.
Jackson.
Bear down!
All right, Jackson, bear down. Who's your favorite player, Jackson?
Probably Caleb Love.
Caleb Love. Can you shoot like Caleb Love? You play a little hoop yourself?
Yep.
All right, how many points a game you score last year?
Average about 17.
17 points a game? Right, man, where are we going to see you playing in high school? Have you decided yet? How old are you?
I'll play in the nosebleeds.
You'll play in the nosebleeds?
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. You score 17 points a game. You might be closer than the nosebleeds.
Yeah.
All right. Where'd you get that jersey from? How long you had that jersey there?
I've had it for 2 or 3 years.
All right. How many games have you been to this season?
This is my 3rd one.
This is your 3rd game. Have they won all the games?
Yep.
All right. Well, I think they're going to win tonight because you're here, which means if they win tonight, you got to keep coming every game. All right.
Yep.
There we go. Outstanding. Enjoy it tonight.
You too.
All right. There we go. See? All right. Got the guys coming here. Absolutely. Bear down for sure. All right. Let's get a break in here. We'll come back. We'll have, I think, actually, are we ahead at Dragon Ball or are we behind? I've kind of lost track a little bit. I think we're actually at, I think we have some time.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have some time. We still have some time to chat. All right. So 520-848-1290 if you want to text us who you think is going to win the ball game here tonight, and we'll read your text on the air. Always good to hear from the youngsters, for sure.
I'm shocked that we had a Pest of the Game segment and nobody picked Cooper Flagg.
I was going to, but that would just,
it's obvious, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You got to go.
Everybody
knows.
You got to go with
not
somebody who might not be in the headlines.
Not
right?
of the norm. Yeah, you got to go with somebody not of the norm, and that's why, again.
If it works for everyone, I'll take Cooper Flagg as the best.
There you go. There you go. Dragon Ball. Taking Cooper Flagg.
See, to me, that should be the monster of the game.
Right.
That's a whole nother.
That's
a whole.
That's
nother,
the gravity. The gravity of the game. Every scout. It's all about Cooper Flagg.
Right. Yeah. He's not. Yeah.
Well, how do you stop him? Is the question. That's going to be the
double
golden
team
question.
I was thinking about this.
To the side.
Kelvin, we were talking about this on the afternoon show, and I was thinking about this, but there really is no guy except for maybe Carter Bryant, because you're talking about a guy who's 6'10", 6'9", 6'10", who can really move his feet. He plays a lot like a shooting guard does Cooper Flagg. So if you look at the Arizona roster and the rotation, the guy who matches up physically, who can get out there and challenge shots, Cooper's going to be taking some shots off dribble. He's going to be. You don't see a lot of 6'9" guys shooting maybe threes or 20-footers off dribble. It's not a very common thing. So that's what Cooper does. So having a guy who can get out there and challenge it, a guy like Townsend might not have the length to get up and challenge some of those shots. However, Carter, it's funny because I was thinking to myself, maybe Carter's not ready. Cooper Flagg is the youngest player, Kelvin, in college basketball, 17 years old.
Yeah, and I was thinking Townsend because I think he could be physical with him when he do try to penetrate, because I think penetration is his biggest side of his game, being able to get to the rim and be athletic.
His handles are pretty tight.
I think Townsend, with his being a fourth-year guy, I think he can use his body and kind of push him out a little bit and force him to shoot little jumpers instead of dunking on us.
I agree 100%. I think you got to get the body into him, a young guy like that, especially a guy – he's very physical on his drives. He likes to push guys out of the way. You get an old man, get a guy who's there, the fifth-year senior, who's got that old man strength on him. It's not quite as easy to get past.
Yes.
All right. Don't forget also that you've got the Meridian Wealth Management post-game show coming up after the game tonight. We'll be with you probably sometime around 11:30 tonight so we can talk about this game with you, get your thoughts on everything that is happening here. Busy weekend here in southern Arizona. You've got El Tour de Tucson that's going to be happening, so probably a good thing there's no home football game tomorrow. That'll lessen that whole event around potentially having 60,000 people down here on campus. And so good luck to all the folks that have come into town for that annual event. Really cool that Tucson has an event like that.
And nobody text caller Doug and tell him what's going on with this Duke game tonight.
Yeah, that's right.
He's going to bed early tonight so he can get up and ride in the Tour de France tomorrow and then watch this game tomorrow as if it didn't happen.
There we go. Good luck to our guy, Doug.
Oh, it's going to be a little tough getting the garbage tomorrow. Maybe.
I don't know. That's
we'll get your police escort.
I don't think they usually. I don't know if they go down that.
I looked at the route, and it's actually not quite as deep into the center of town as it normally might be.
I think generally it's downtown, but I don't know that they generally necessarily go into the area around 4th Avenue. Every time we hear a big cheer coming from the other side of the wall, I always wonder what the heck's going on down there because
I'm guessing players are coming in or something.
Well, I guess Tommy was out there a little bit earlier.
Yeah.
I saw a video of him, and he was going and shaking hands. Somebody said right before we went on the air that Caleb Love was down there, and I think he had a pizza for some of the kids as well. So they've eaten a lot of pizza. They've eaten a lot of Chick-fil-A. Heck, I had a Chick-fil-A sandwich as well here tonight. So just a festive night to be here at McHale Center, and we are looking forward to Duke and Arizona. We've still got a full hour left with you guys here, so much more straight ahead. We're going to dive into our scouting report coming up in the next hour. We're going to chat with Steve Wiseman. We talked to him last year before Arizona played Duke over in Durham. He'll be back with us again this year, and Steve covers the Blue Devils for the Raleigh News and Observer. So looking forward to getting his thoughts on what he saw last year. He was at the game, obviously, and down at Cameron Indoor Stadium, and what he thinks about this current version of John Shire. Boy, did they sign a recruiting class this week. We'll dive into that. Some very familiar sons on that recruiting board for the Duke Blue Devils, so they are not hurting.
It was just a matter of time. It was just a matter of time, Kelvin. I think we all knew that was coming, huh?
Yeah, we'll get into that coming up as well in the 7 o'clock hour. It is Meridian Wealth Management Arizona Game Day. We've got Kelvin Efon, we got J.W. Madden, we've got Dragon Ball. I'm David Kelly. You're listening to Wildcats Radio 1290.
That's today's Pest of the Game. The Pest of the Game is brought to you by University Termite and Pest Control. Visit BePestFree.com. Our Window Depot coverage of Arizona basketball is getting you closer to tip-off. This is Meridian Wealth Management Arizona Game Day. Hour 2 of the pregame show is brought to you by Dave & Buster's Tucson, Dorado Rock, Goodfellas AC, Humane Society of Southern Arizona, Lexus of Tucson, Recon Auto Detail, Right Way Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing, Rocking KA Master Plan Community designed by nature, University Termite and Pest Control, and by Meridian Wealth Management. Wealth well managed, life well lived.
As Arizona's leading personal injury law firm for more than 35 years, Goldberg & Osborne agrees. Bear down, Arizona. With offices statewide, including Tucson and Sierra Vista, the Eagle gives you home field advantage. More than 2,200 5-star Google reviews prove Goldberg & Osborne has the playbook for any situation. So after an accident, let the attorneys voted best personal injury law firm 4 years in a row tackle that insurance company and get you the settlement you deserve. Goldberg & Osborne, 1-800-THE-EAGLE.
Does it feel like the price of everything is going up, up, up? We can't control the price of gas or groceries, but at Royal Kia, we never add market adjustments, even while other dealers add fees because inventory is limited. At Royal Kia, you can rest assured you won't pay market adjustments, and we stand by our transparent online pricing. Royal Kia, the dealership that's different. OAC plus tax, title, license, dealer installed options, and $529 doc fee. Royal Kia, Speedway in Columbus or RoyalKia.com.
The Window Depot has everything you need to create the kitchen or bathroom. Browse the aisles of in-stock cabinets available in a variety of sizes and configurations and instantly elevate your space today. Visit a showroom and let our experts guide you. You're choosing from ready-to-go designs or creating a custom masterpiece, we can help you select the
Full service auto shop with satisfaction guaranteed, offering you the best in tires and wheels, auto repair, oil changes, computer diagnostics, suspension and brake service, and heating and AC. Bring your car to JT Auto, where customers are family. 623-7066. That's 623-7066.
All right, she's inside. Are you good?
Yeah, it's just, she's my baby girl, you know?
I do, and ceramic coating was a good choice.
Oh, she's beautiful.
Yep, I know.
Recon Auto Detailing. Enhance or restore your baby to her former glory with paint recondition, ceramic coating, paint protection, tinting, and more for full protection of your vehicle inside and out. New cars, old cars, we love them all. Recon Auto Detailing, 3829 North Oracle Road, Tucson. ReconDetail.com.
Do you often worry you left your garage door open? With a LiftMaster garage door opener powered by MyQ, you'll never worry again. You can control, secure, and monitor your garage from your smartphone anytime from anywhere through the MyQ app. As an authorized LiftMaster dealer, we have smart openers designed for your needs, including belt drive motors for ultra-quiet operation, integrated camera for live video streaming, and battery backup that lets you in when the power is out. The team at Kaiser Garage Doors and Gates are your locally owned LiftMaster professionals. Visit KaiserGarage.com to learn more.
Hi, this is Mary with Mesquite Valley Growers. Mesquite Valley Growers has the largest selection when it comes to picking out gifts of living plants, flowers, trees, and cactus. Indoor, outdoor for your home, your apartment, living gifts can go just about anywhere. Green plants of every size to create beautiful spaces indoors. And if you can't decide, you can always give a gift card. Mesquite Valley Growers on Speedway just east of Pantano. Open 7 days a week. Give the gift of living all year round with Mesquite Valley Growers.
KCUB Tucson, a Cumulus media station. We're listening to the home of Arizona football, men's and women's basketball and baseball. This is Wildcats Radio 1290. Wildcat Nation, are you ready?
Krivas turnaround, gets it off, and it rolls in for two. Oh my! KJ Lewis slams it home. Stolen away by Bradley. Caleb on a breakaway windmill jam.
Arizona basketball never sleeps. Bear down, Cats. Our Window Depot coverage of U of A basketball continues. The Meridian Wealth Management Arizona Game Day pregame show is brought to you by Meridian Wealth Management. Wealth well managed, life well lived. We're getting closer to tip-off for today's Arizona basketball game. This is Wildcats Radio 1290.
That's the other way. That's the other love. Out top, Vasar. He'll spring a three out there. He's got it. Lexus of Tucson, charity three for Henry Vasar.
We talked about how comfortable he looked. Boy, that was in rhythm. First shot of the season for him.
Well, Henry did not do a whole lot in the game last Friday night at Wisconsin. Played 12 minutes, took 2 shots, missed them both. Did make a couple from the line in that game, but just 2 points for Henry Vasar, and had 3 rebounds to go along with that. So you definitely want to see him bounce back as well. A couple guys that really need some bounce back games. Caleb Love, obviously, and you'd like to see Henry bounce back because he had been kind of finding his niche through the first couple of games. But now that the talent is getting a little bit tougher on the other side, it is time definitely to step up the game for sure. We're going to hear a little bit more from Henry Vasar coming up for you here shortly. Let's tell you what we've got coming up for you, however, in the final hour of our show.
Let's take a look at the Right Way Rundown and see what's coming up on our pregame show. Brought to you by Right Way Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing. Do things the right way.
All right, we'll have best bets coming up in this segment right here. Arizona, a 1.5-point favorite tonight. The over-under at 161.5. Brought to you by Desert Diamond Casino Sportsbook. Steve Weissman will join us for our scouting report from the Raleigh News and Observer. Scouting report is courtesy of Jack Furrier, Tire and Auto Care. Keys to the game, starting lineups, all of that as well coming up for you straight ahead. We're also going to hear from a couple of members of the Zona Zoo who were out here standing in line. The doors have opened here at McHale Center. We are about an hour and a half. That makes sense. Hour and a half from game time. 8:30 tip-off here. Doors have just opened, so folks are starting to file in to get ready for this 11th all-time meeting between the Arizona Wildcats and the Duke Blue
They just
Devils.
need a little more time to clean the fluff from the fluffy feet that from the pajamas last night, and when their kids were staying in there, so
right?
Got to clean up that fluff.
I saw a few fluffy house shoes pictures.
Oh, yeah.
Coming out of McHale Center.
Got to be comfortable.
Last night, we mentioned Henry Vasar there. One of the guys, and a little again, we hadn't really heard much about this name. But apparently, this is a guy that has a very large role within the program. He's been elevated this year to a full-time coach with the ability to add more coaches to the staff, and that's Ken Nakagawa, who has come over and longtime aide to Tommy Lloyd from the time that Tommy was at Gonzaga. And brought Ken over with him, and Ken has kind of been the guy that's been the shooting doctor on this coaching staff. And Henry Vasar talked a little bit about working with Ken and what he has done for his game offensively.
I feel like we have, a lot of workouts together. Like, we've done a lot of, ball handling stuff. Like, especially last year, did a lot of ball handling stuff, shooting threes, getting off the move, off the catch, doing stuff. With Ken, he's been amazing with us. Super patient, works us out hard. He's just been, a great coach to us, working us out on our skills.
And we heard a lot of that also earlier in the preseason from Trey Townsend about Ken Nakagawa kind of really helping him, working with him on his shooting. So it'll be kind of interesting to see the trajectory. He was added to the team. They also lost the assistant, Ricardo Foy, left in the offseason and decided to go back over and coach in Europe.
Do you know who Kelvin's shooting coach was when he was on the basketball team?
It
was me. I was in the rec center with Joe Blair and Womack, all
and
those
you were
guys.
You were feeding
Well,
him
I was
numbers?
more rebounding than shooting coaching. But, yeah, Kelvin, you guys didn't have shooting coaches back in your day, huh?
not really. I think Jesse Evans and Coach Roz, bro, they worked with the guards, but it wasn't necessarily working on, just shooting, even though Roz always had something to say.
Oh, yeah, always.
Trust me.
Ken Nakagawa in his fourth year with this staff here at the University of Arizona. He was the director of advanced scouting for the first 3 years before being elevated to an assistant coach's seat this season. As I mentioned, spent 5 seasons prior to that at Gonzaga working with that program. A former student manager like myself. He worked with Dan Monson, the longtime coach of Long Beach State, who we got to know a little bit last year.
And I was going to say, it kind of reminded me of Josh Pastner. That was his role in the beginning when he was here at the U of A, working with a lot of the guys as a guard and working on guard skills.
Yeah. We got a fan. Oh, you want to talk on the radio? Come tell us what you think of the game tonight.
He's like, not today.
We'll get everybody's thoughts on what they think the Wildcats are going to do. Well, I promised you we are going to hear from some members of the Zona Zoo. So let's hear from a couple of the kids who were out here a little bit earlier. They're on their way in now. Many of them who have been outside here since about 7 o'clock this morning when they got released from the sleepover at McHale Center.
Hi, my name is Johnny. We have been waiting out here since about 5:30 yesterday because we are excited for this Duke basketball game. It's a big game, and we're excited for our guys to compete well. Predictions, I think it's going to be a close game for sure. I think if we play smart, play well, we'll win by, I say 6 or 7. I would say Caleb Love because I grew up watching him since I am from St. Louis as well, so I was stealing moves from him and just looking at his game. I would say since I've got here, this is my 3rd year here, and I knew Arizona was a big basketball school, and I was for it from the jump. So
what do you think the team needs to do?
I think we need to make free throws, play smart defense, don't foul, and I think we should do well. I think we're a good team, so just encouragement, good group of guys, so I'm excited about them.
All right, that was Michael, who was out here a little bit earlier. He chatted with our Priscilla Mugwa out there and standing in line, kid from St. Louis who stealing Caleb Love's moves. He's probably using them over there at the rec center right when he's not out here cheering on the Cats.
Hey, he's a good guy move to steal because Caleb got some little slick moves, okay? So we need to see some of them tonight getting by some of these Duke guys getting to that lane.
I thought he was following Caleb once he came out here, but it's opposite. Right, he's been here 3 years.
He's been here
Caleb
3 years.
followed him out here.
Caleb followed him out here. He's probably jazzed when he found out his guy from St. Louis was coming here to play for the Wildcats. Let's. I think we got one more student that we're going to hear from, a young lady here. Let's hear from this young lady who was standing out there prior to the game.
Hi, my name's Lauren Froberg, and I've been in line since 7 a.m. this morning. I definitely think it'll be a close game. I think Arizona will come out on top with all the energy that we're definitely going to bring. I know they had a little sleepover last night, so I definitely know that there's McHale magic in the air right now. Probably Jaden Bradley. I just love when he gets up and dunks. It's awesome. I feel like it's electric. I've been a Wildcat fan my whole life. My parents actually came to the University of Arizona, so I've been a Wildcat for life. I think we need to make our free throws. Based on our performance at Wisconsin, we need to capitalize on their free throws and then also work on our rebounding. But should be a fun and electric game, and I'm super excited.
All right, that's Lauren, a Wildcat for life. Yeah, parents came to school. Both Lauren and Michael said we got to make the free throws tonight. They shot 40 in that game at Wisconsin and made 28. I mean, obviously that's you don't want to miss 12. But definitely, if you go to the line 40 times, you'd like to make about 32 to 34 of those.
Yeah, at least.
Yeah, I mean, Karak, you want the right guys getting to the line, right? So you're talking about the aggressiveness of the guards you've been talking about for the past 3 weeks.
We saw that a little bit at Wisconsin for the first time.
Yeah, I mean, all those guys are competent free throw shooters. So it's really a matter of getting that aggressive, especially early. Like, what did Wisconsin get in the bonus 6 minutes in last game out? So you do something like that, put some pressure on the defense, get the right guys to the line. I'm not worried. I think this is a good free throw shooting at the end of the year.
Yeah, that's exactly what you expect. I mean, when it really counts, which it counts now, but at the end of the day, you want the guys getting these reps in these games because that's where they're going to get the experience, so they'll be ready when it's really go time.
Jaden Bradley missed half of those 12. He was 7 of 13 from the line. KJ Lewis, we mentioned the guards getting there to the line finally. Bradley went 13 times. Jaden Bradley got to the line 8 times. He made 6 of 8. Caleb just 2 for 2. So obviously, especially when you're not shooting the ball well, you'd like to maybe try to get to the basket and get some free opportunities like that, Kelvin.
Yeah, Kelvin, what do you think about his first shot?
Didn't like that so much. Yeah, you want him to get something a little easier,
but
right?
See, he did that. I remember he did that last year in a game where I don't remember which game it was. I'd have to go back and look at it. But there was a big game last year where I thought he took a real quick shot because he wanted to try to shut the crowd up and get in the opponent's head.
Pre-heat check. He's checking to see if he's hot before the game even starts.
I'm going to tell you guys what that is. That is he was shooting well in the warm-ups. So you think, I'm finna check that right now and see where we at. But, sometimes that thing fall. But to me, the biggest thing is don't have the roller coaster of emotions regardless. Just make sure you lock in and remember the key things that you and Coach talked about or what you need to do better coming out of that Wisconsin game.
Same as always. You're not trying to make it a personal one-on-one. This guy got at me. I got to get back at him. Forget that. get in the flow of the offense, take good shots. Caleb's a killer. I mean, Caleb can get in there and do damage, Kelvin, anytime he wants. Off dribble over a double team from 22, maybe not, especially with some time on the clock. Get in the lane, make damage.
And to me, the worst thing about that is you start seeing other guys start doing the same.
Yeah.
Right? I thought
You
Bradley.
go as your leader goes,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. I thought Bradley and KJ started being aggressively kind of looking for theirs too, and they kind of needed to do it together.
Yeah.
All right, let's find out what this game looks like on the big board at the Desert Diamond Casino.
Tucson, what are some of today's best bets? Will the Cats beat the spread? It's time to look at some of today's best bets. Brought to you by Desert Diamond Sportsbook, Arizona's best bet.
All right, DK 4-2, J-Dub 3-3, Kelvin 2-4 through the first 3 games of this. Well, actually, it's 4 games, right? It's 4 games. We're 3-1. Did I not put the results of the last game on there? I have to. No, I did.
Did the last game happen? I don't know.
That
was a doubleheader day for us.
2, 3. I think I'm missing it. No, that's 3 games. We're 3-1, 2-1, right? I don't even know what the record is right now. All right, we'll come back to that part. All right, 1.5 point favorite is U of A while DK figures out what the record of the team is. 1.5 points in favor of the Wildcats in this game. J-Dub, you let Kelvin go first last time. So
I like the Cats in this game. I think 4, maybe 5. It's not going to be, obviously, it's going to be a very tight game. It's going to go down to the wire, but I'd like the Cats, maybe free throw lines down the stretch, 30 seconds left, push that lead out to about 4, maybe 5 at most. But, yeah, Cats cover the 1.5.
Okay, Kelvin.
Yeah, I got him covering the 1.5 as well. I think 6. So we're right there together around the same. I just think that back home, guys coming off that L, and Tommy don't lose 2 in a row.
No, we do not.
Wow, I got a bad feeling about this game. I just do. There's just something didn't sit right with me about that performance last week, and I again, you're home. This building is going to be electric. But I don't know. I'm gonna take Duke in the 1.5 points in this game. I just got a bad pit in my stomach about this, and that's not my vaccine shots that I took earlier this week.
It's a good team. That's a good Duke team.
Okay, over under 161.5 on this one.
Ooh, that's a 80 to 81.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's gonna be a high-scoring game.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, I'm going to go right under. So I'm going to think it's going to be like 155 to 160, something like that.
Okay. I'm going to go over. I think it's going to be, like you said, I think scoring is king right now. Both these teams can do it, and I think it's going to be a game in the high 80s.
I think Arizona's going to play well at home. I think they score well in this gym. We saw the coach from the other team shooting threes up in here.
Oh,
so you get buckets in here. So I think it's going to be a high-scoring game today.
I guess we got to ask Tommy next week if he's going to take the challenge that John Shire laid out there and see if he could. I
don't know if he wants
that
I
was
smoke.
Shocked. I was like, man, I think I remember seeing Sean Miller do that. He didn't make as many.
They did
but
free
I think
throws,
I
right?
did
Back in the
see,
day, coaches. Like they had like a national coaches for free throw,
contest.
But
I think I saw him making some jumpers there too.
But to be fair, I think you should put Jason Gardner against him.
Oh, yeah, right.
Yeah.
Isn't your boy Damon a coach?
yeah, but I'm saying Wildcat. I mean, on staff.
Oh, yeah,
on staff.
Yeah.
So he's a Duke on staff. Shire's on staff there. Yeah. I'll put my boy Gardner against him all day.
Yep.
All right, so Kelvin and J-Dub are taking the Wildcats and laying the 1.5. I'm taking Duke plus 1.5. What did you say, Kelvin? You said under or over? You said
over.
Over. So Kelvin and I are taking the over at 161.5, and J-Dub's got just under that 161.5. We'll find out who's cashing tickets on the postgame show.
Those are today's best bets. They are brought to you by Desert Diamond Sportsbook, Arizona's best bet.
All right, we'll get your scouting report to you. Steve Weissman from the Riley News and Observer is going to join us next. We'll get the lowdown on the Duke Blue Devils as we get you closer to tip-off. Just over a little bit of an hour more to go here at McHale Center. Number 17, Arizona. Number 12, Duke. It is Meridian Wealth Management Arizona Game Day, along with Kelvin Ifan, J.W. Madden, Dragon Ball. I'm David Kelly. You're listening to Wildcats Radio 1290.
Our Window Depot coverage of Arizona basketball continues. This is Meridian Wealth Management Arizona Game Day. Hour 3 of the pregame show is brought to you by Broadway in Tucson, Cool Willie's Air and Plumbing, Drain Medics, First Choice Pools, Goldberg and Osborne the Injury Lawyers, Kaiser Garage Doors and Gates, O'Reilly Chevrolet, Showtime Sports Cards, Tucson Police Department, and by Meridian Wealth Management. Wealth well managed, life well lived.
2025 is bringing the biggest change to air conditioning in decades. New EPA regulations mean AC costs could rise by up to 25%. If you've been thinking about replacing your old AC, now's the time. Rightway is offering zero interest financing and a free furnace when you replace your AC this month. Don't wait till next year when prices go up. Call Rightway today for your free no obligation estimate. Call 520-549-2697.
As Arizona's leading personal injury law firm for more than 35 years, Goldberg & Osborne agrees. Bear down, Arizona. With offices statewide, including Tucson and Sierra Vista, the Eagle gives you home field advantage. More than 2,200 5-star Google reviews prove Goldberg & Osborne has the playbook for any situation. So after an accident, let the attorneys voted best personal injury law firm 4 years in a row tackle that insurance company and get you the settlement you deserve. Goldberg & Osborne, 1-800-THE-EAGLE.
Sean Furrier here for Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care, a proud sponsor of Arizona Athletics since 1968. And this year, the Wildcats are driving into the Big 12. But we've been down this road before. From the WAC to the PAC, it's never been about the conference. It's always been about the Wildcats. And you can count on the Cats. And you can count on Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care for the very best deals on tires and award-winning auto care. Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care, since 1960, we're here to get you there. Go Cats!
Day in and day out, we're inundated with commercials asking to review your portfolio or telling you to get a second opinion. This is Natalie Fernandez with Meridian Wealth Management, and I want to share the advice I give people every day. Talk to 3 different advisors at 3 different firms. It's important to understand their differences and find someone you can trust. I want Meridian to be one of your 3, and then you will decide who is best for you. To learn more, call us at 719-1433 today.
Advisory services provided by Meridian Wealth Management, a registered investment advisor.
Make the right choice for your home when it comes to windows and doors. For more than 20 years, the Window Depot has provided the best price and biggest inventory on in-stock windows and doors. The Window Depot is open to the public, so whether you're a homeowner or a contractor, you can shop the enormous warehouse. Browse the shelves with over 1,000 vinyl windows, interior and patio doors, and skylights in several varieties and sizes available to go home today. Shop thewindowdepot.com or find a location near you. The Window Depot. Best price, biggest inventory.
My heat and air were in a state of disrepair.
It's November and the weather is cooling down. Now is the time to have your furnace serviced to ensure that it's operating safe and efficient. We also have a $79 garbage disposal service. And check out our monthly plumbing specials on our website. Call Picture Rocks Cooling, Heating, and Plumbing for all your plumbing and heating needs at 520-492-0748 or picturerockschooling.com.
Picture Rocks Cooling, Heating, and Plumbing.
Does it feel like the price of everything is going up, up, up? We can't control the price of gas or groceries, but at Royal Kia, we never add market adjustments, even while other dealers add fees because inventory is limited. At Royal Kia, you can rest assured you won't pay market adjustments, and we stand by our transparent online pricing. Royal Kia, the dealership that's different. OAC plus tax, title, license, dealer installed options, and $529 doc fee. Royal Kia, Speedway in Columbus or royalkia.com.
You want to protect her. You'll give anything to make sure nothing harms her. Every minute together makes unforgettable memories. Except that time you parked her under that tree and...
Oh, come on, man, really?
Sorry, we'll never speak of it again. But remember who came to her rescue? Recon Auto Detailing. Arizona's premier auto detailing company comes directly to you. We'll make your masterpiece shine like it should, and with a monthly maintenance package, we'll keep it that way. Recon Auto Detailing. Online at recondetail.com.
Our Window Depot coverage of U of A basketball continues. This is the Meridian Wealth Management Arizona Game Day pregame show on Wildcats Radio 1290. Now back to your hosts, David Kelly, the captain Kelvin Ifan, and J.W. Madden.
Proctor off of a screen set by Malowacz. Works to the right, back to the left. Sends it off for James. Thought about a 3 and said he'll draw. 10 to shoot. Lob it up to Malowacz. to dunk it down. Flag of theft, a race to the other end, spins inside, steps through, takes the contact, counted it a foul.
Time now for our look at today's Wildcat opponent. The scouting report is brought to you by Jack Furrier Tire and Auto. Jack Furrier since 1960. We're here to get you there.
All right, let's take a closer look at tonight's basketball opponent, the Duke Blue Devils. Pleased to be joined once again by Steve Weissman from the Raleigh News and Observer, and he covers all things that are Duke basketball. And Steve, first of all, I want to go back to last year's game in Cameron Indoor Stadium. This will be the second part of the home and home between these two teams. So what kind of your takeaways from that is from the environment last year, having Arizona there, and the way that game turned out for the Blue Devils?
Yeah, it was a really cool event. We don't normally get that kind of atmosphere for an early season home game because, Duke in the past has normally played some teams from lower levels of Division Division One, so the excitement level in the building isn't as much. But for that night, it was on par with an ACC game. Maybe not the Carolina game; that's a little different matter. But but it was on par with an ACC game, and that says a lot. And of course, there was a Carolina element to it with Caleb Love and his Tar Heel for life on the shoe and everything. So a lot of people had fun with that. But it was a great environment, great game, and two teams ended up making. One made the Sweet 16, one made the Elite Eight, doing what we thought they would do, getting deep into the tournament in March.
So what is and then I guess the turnaround game that we've got here tonight in Tucson, what is this game? How is this game being viewed back on that side? I mean, I know Duke is, everybody looks at Duke as a big-time opponent. No matter who you guys play, this is a game, obviously, that our fan base has been looking forward to for 30-plus years, I think, since the last time Duke came to play here in Tucson. How's this return game being viewed on that side?
Yeah, very much. It's a big deal, and it is, and it's part of. This group needs to learn about itself. Needs to learn what it's capable of, what it needs to work on more. And this is the kind of challenge they need, and again, one they haven't really had in recent years. They normally only go to an opponent's home venue for the ACC. Used to be the Big Ten challenge, now it's the ACC SEC challenge. It's very rare. Coach K had kind of gotten away from doing that, from scheduling games on opponents' home courts in non-conference. And so John Shire, one of the first things he did was set up this deal with Tommy Lloyd to play this home and home. And so after playing. Duke played Kentucky last Tuesday night in Atlanta and lost that game. Had a lead and let it get away late. So there's a lot of sourness around that loss. And so now it's the next test. Like, okay, let's see what they learn. They pounded Wofford over the weekend. Let's see if they're ready to face another high level opponent. And that people are hungry for this game because they want to see how Duke measures up and if this team is capable of learning from the Kentucky loss quickly and going into a tough place to win and coming out with a victory.
It's interesting you mentioned something there, Steve, that Coach Krzyzewski kind of shied away from playing these types of games. Why was that? Was it because everybody makes such a big deal because it is Duke? Is that one of the reasons why he didn't necessarily want to kind of go into these types of home and homes with other Power Fours?
He kind of saw it as like there wasn't anything to gain. He didn't think, he always said, well, the NCAA tournament is not played on home courts; it's played in neutral site arenas. So let's go. And they every year they play a bunch of those type of games, right? They always play a game in the Garden. They play the Champions Classic, so they always when that moves around different places. So they've been out to Vegas and played a couple of games out there. They played Gonzaga. They're playing Kansas here next week out in Vegas. So that part of it he thought was enough. So it was always a big deal when conference play started, and it was sometimes January, middle of January, and Duke's going to play on the road for the first time. Let's see how they can do it. And so they had to learn. It was a unique thing, and sometimes they lost that game because they'd never done it before. So now John Shire, one of the first things he did, like I said, was I'm going to do something different. And that wasn't a knock on Coach K. It was just that's what he wanted to do. That's what he thought this program needed, and here we are, ready for this game Friday night.
Steve Weissman joining us from the Raleigh News and Observer. He's got your scouting report for today, brought to you by Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care. Jack Furrier, since 1960, we're here to get you there. Interesting club that you guys have got. Both of these teams coming off losses in big-time games. Duke to Kentucky, Arizona to Wisconsin. A couple of talented freshmen adopt this roster, and I think that's a lot of what people are talking about. Let's talk about the first guy, the number one guy, Cooper Flagg. Early impressions through these first three games from what you've seen from the number one recruit in the country.
Yeah, I mean, we see the skills that he showed, in the summer league and high school stuff and all that stuff. They are translating to this level. I mean, right now, if you look across the board, he's leading Duke in points, rebounds, assists, steals, blocks, everything, but also including turnovers. He has 10 turnovers in the 4 games. So, and he had those 3 late against Kentucky that showed he looked a little young in that moment. He looked like a 17-year-old, and that's what he is. He doesn't turn 18 until next month. So, he's got some growth to do. But the elements of his game are there that you can see why the NBA scouts are so excited about getting him on their team next year, because he can score from any level. He can distribute. He can block shots. He can rebound really well. He's 6'9", and again, he can guard on the perimeter or inside. He can do everything on the court. He just has to get some more experience at this level and cut down on the turnover some. That would be one thing I want to see how he handles Friday night, is how he can deal in that environment. He's incredibly competitive, so I know he'll be fired up and ready to play that game. But he was competitive against Kentucky, and then made those turnovers late after having a tremendous game, 26 points and 12 rebounds. But the turnovers cost Duke the game at the end. That's what kind of everybody remembers.
Steve, those of us been paying attention have seen that Cooper Flagg's style is he's just a well-rounded athlete. He can score from all levels. However, through these first few games, he's only shooting about 20% from 3, 56% inside the arc. Is that something that Coach Shire is trying to get him a little more looks closer to the basket, or is he comfortable with Cooper shooting from out there as well?
No, he's comfortable in shooting out there. They're convinced that he will find his shot, and that's a big part of his game is hitting those open threes or step back three. Even kind of a couple of years ago, we saw this with Paulo Banchero, kind of the same way before he became the number 1 overall pick, was his ability to just hit the step back three and things like that. And Duke thinks Flagg's going to be able to do that. They think this is just part of the process, that he'll find his stroke. He's due to have one of those games where he makes 4 out of 5 or 5 out of 6 or whatever it may be. But again, we have to see how that plays out going forward, because so far we haven't seen him do it.
Did they think, though, I think the thing that really stood out to me just watching some of the Kentucky game was just his ability to kind of get the ball inside, put his shoulder literally into the defender and force his way to the basket. Is that kind of going to be maybe his style as being a dominant offensive force down low?
I think so. I think, his ability to handle the ball and get in the lane on his own and create a shot that way, or, take a pass from one of the guards or a big pass kind of thing. He does have the ability to get in the lane and score and use some strength and get to the rim and score through contact. That's something that you don't see a lot in a young player. Again, especially, as I mentioned, he's only 17 years old, so he's supposed to be in high school right now. So I think he'll get better at that as the year goes on, but he's already pretty good at it right now.
Chatting with Steve Weissman from the Raleigh News and Observer. It is your scouting report. Duke and Arizona on the horizon tonight here at McHale Center. And your scouting report is brought to you by Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care. Jack Furrier, since 1960, we're here to get you there. Another talented freshman on this roster, Con Knipple, second on the team in scoring through these first 4 games at 15 points per ball game. What does young Con bring to the table?
He's got a tremendous 3-point shot. He gets the ball off very quickly, gets his shoulder squared. He's sturdy. He can get in the lane and drive and do things that way. He's aggressive that way. He was really kind of a surprise. Opened my eyes when I first saw him a little bit in practice and then the exhibitions. Because I didn't know what to expect from him. I mean, everything was about Cooper Flagg, right? And here's this guy, Con Knipple, and I mean, I've said it. I mean, there's a chance he may end up being Duke's leading scorer in a lot of games this year, because because Flagg likes to distribute some, and we saw that the last game against Wofford. He only had 8 points, but he led the team with 6 assists. But so Kahn is really probably the best pure 3-point shooter on the team. And, the problem is he's done that really well in the first 3 games, well, 3 of the first 4 games. But the Kentucky game, he was, 5 out of 20 from the field. He struggled. And that was, again, his first big-time, game against a big-time opponent, and it didn't work out well. So, again, he's somebody, and he and Cooper are roommates, by the way, so they're ultra-competitive, and they kind of cut from the same cloth. So he's another guy that this experience will really do him well, and he needs to come back and respond with a big shooting game. He's got the capability, and, again, he just has to do it in this kind of environment, but that will kind of separate him and show what he's really made of if he can have a strong game on Friday night.
Is there any concerns that Cooper's the only one really getting to the line much on this team?
Not yet. I mean, well, obviously I'd like to have it happen more, but so much of the defensive attention is on Flagg early. Yeah. And so, but yeah, if they move the ball around and get people in position, that's one thing they want Kahn to do, frankly, is kind of get in there and get some foul shots, because he's a good foul shooter, and he's got the ability to put the ball on the floor and get into the lane and draw a foul. So that would be better. I think they feel that's coming, but they do need to develop that for sure.
Chatting with Steve Weissman. He is with the Raleigh News and Observer. Duke and Arizona getting set for tip-off here at McHale Center. A monumental matchup of 2 long-time blue blood programs here. And I guess John Shire now in his 3rd season here with this program. Steve, I guess what's the overall feeling about the where he's taken it from his mentor, Mike Krzyzewski, and how that's gone in the first 3 years?
Yeah, I mean, he came in and has continued to recruit at the highest level. He's bringing in number 1 recruiting classes. He's already got, Carlos Boozer's sons are coming next year to anchor that class. Cooper Flagg this year, obviously. So you can't argue with the talent acquisition part of his job. He won an ACC title his first year. He made the Elite Eight last year. So that all, if you just look at all it that way, it sounds fantastic, right? That sounds like a successful transition. And I think in some ways it is, but they've also been 27-9 in the 2 years. Those are more losses than Duke likes to absorb. His first season, they were out of the top 25 for 4 or 5 weeks there, and that's completely unusual. So there still is a segment of the fan base that wonders if he's the guy, if they should have gone after a bigger name, somebody with experience. But there are others who see, the big picture here, that he is accomplishing big things, and he's bringing in top talent to keep them on par with anybody in the country. But really, this is the season. He needs to get over the hump and make a Final Four to that level, to really submit himself as he's going to be the coach here, going forward. And I don't think that's in the administration's eyes. I think Nina Kane, the AD, has full confidence in him. But the part of the fan base that still doubts him a little bit, he needs to get to a Final Four. That will kind of silence that.
Yeah, we mentioned, obviously, this is you guys got 3 actual true road games before Christmas this year. First time since the early 90s that has happened. A gauntlet of a schedule. Kentucky obviously already been played. A game you guys lost last week. This game here, and then you got to go to and play number 1 Kansas coming up. So at least John's not messing around with the schedule. He's putting some heavyweights on the schedule, at least this season.
That's for sure. And then right after that, Auburn comes to Cameron. They're number 4 in the country right now. That's part of the ACC SEC. So that's going to be a great game. And then you're right. Then right after that, the ACC started Duke off with 2 road games in December. So that's Louisville and Georgia Tech. So they're not picked at the top of the conference or anything, but they're road games. And that's places that Duke's had trouble. Duke lost at Georgia Tech last year, as a matter of fact. So that's something that they need to show they can do. They're going to be tested here in the first 2 months. And that's good. That's what this team needs. He put this team together. He built around Cooper Flagg. He went out and got guys in the transfer portal, Malik Brown, Sion James. Mason Gillis came in from Purdue, a 6-year guy. He wanted to have some experienced guys along with these tremendous freshmen that he has. And then the returning guys, Tyrese Proctor and Caleb Foster. So they're still getting accustomed to playing together, but these are people that have played a lot of college basketball separate from Cooper Flagg. So that's what this gauntlet will show. It will show if this is the right thing. The Kentucky game was a step back, I think. That wasn't what they wanted, but they have more chances here to do it, and they need to get some wins on these big games.
Yeah, and even like you mentioned, even at Duke, you get a lot of transfers who can come in to the program and hopefully bring success. Hey, Steve, we appreciate you taking a few minutes to join us. Looking forward to a great ball game here tonight in Tucson.
Very good. Can't wait to be there.
And that's the lowdown on the team U of A is about to face on the hardwood. The scouting report has been brought to you by Jack Furrier Tire and Auto. Jack Furrier since 1960. We're here to get you there.
Does it feel like the price of everything is going up, up, up? We can't control the price of gas or groceries, but at Royal Kia, we never add market adjustments, even while other dealers add fees because inventory is limited. At Royal Kia, you can rest assured you won't pay market adjustments, and we stand by our transparent online pricing. Royal Kia, the dealership that's different. OAC plus tax, title, license, dealer installed options, and $529 doc fee. Royal Kia, Speedway in Columbus or royalkia.com.
Don't hold back. Just dive right in. This is Desert Diamond. The round-the-clock, off-the-charts, over-the-top spectacle that puts a shine on any day, anytime. The tables are hot to the touch. The slots are spinning winners every day.
$78,000 or find new roads at O'Reilly.com, where you can experience our version of a steal. O'Reilly Chevrolet, more than a great price.
O'Reilly Chevrolet.
Our Window Depot coverage of U of A basketball continues. This is the Meridian Wealth Management Arizona Game Day pregame show on Wildcats Radio 1290. Now back to your hosts, David Kelly, the captain Kelvin Ifan, and J.W. Madden.
I want to wish Coach Lloyd and the basketball team and the basketball staff luck. Really, really excited for them. Obviously, we're going to have a great crowd, and I expect University of Arizona and Tucson to rock McHale and create a great environment.
That's the head football coach here at the University of Arizona, Brent Brennan. He and his guys down in Kelvin's home area right now, Dallas-Fort Worth area, getting set to take on TCU tomorrow. We'll have full coverage of that game coming up for you as well. We'll start it at 8:30 a.m., bright and early from Corbett's off 4th. So join us for a little steak and eggs in the morning, and we'll take you from 8:30 to 11:30. Brody and Dryden and Kyle Quinn from 11:30 to kick off with Brian Jeffries and Lamont Lovett at 1 o'clock. Exciting weekend, guys, with this game here tonight and another chance to take a step to bowl eligibility against TCU tomorrow.
Yeah, it is, man. I mean, this is what college sports is about, man. I mean, you have 2 big-time games like this. I mean, your school is all everywhere. My boys back home in Dallas is talking about these type of games. All you hoping is that we can get a dub so we can brag a little bit.
Yeah, Kelvin, you just want to be able to talk about the next game, right? 'Cause
Yeah.
it's all about TCU right now. Just get the job done. Played really well last week. One more game.
Well, we were talking a little bit about the Duke Blue Devils, and they signed the #1 recruiting class in the country this past week. I think it's the last couple weeks we've had this most recent signing period, and it's led by a couple of young men whose last name is Boozer, Caden Boozer and Cameron Boozer, the sons of Duke legend Carlos Boozer, who wore a Cavaliers uniform for a part of his time in the National Basketball Association. Not really any surprise that those 2 kids chose to go to their dad's alma mater.
Not much. I don't think so. I mean, I think that's an easy choice with Duke being one of the top schools, in the nation, and their dad being, going there. And trust me, the 6'10" Boucher brother is a clone. Trust me, he's right. He's right at home.
Well, hey, their dad was like one of the most fundamentally sound power forwards I ever seen play the game. I mean, there was nothing he couldn't do and did it smooth and really was always on point. So whatever he needed to do to get to wins, right? I mean, that was just who their dad, Carlos, was. So I imagine those 2 boys, Kelvin, are going to go there and be exactly – just like their dad.
And it's the same thing. You're noticing a lot of NBA kids are going now, and I say it because they're following the blueprint. I think back in the day, a lot of the dads didn't want their kids to actually play basketball, and I think now these guys are just really in tune to it and understand the business, and the kids that are willing to listen to their dads are having a lot of success.
Yeah, don't turn down Duke education, too.
Oh, boy.
Tommy Lloyd says this is going to be a great early season challenge for both not only his Arizona Wildcats, but for the opponent on the other side, the Duke Blue Devils.
I think he and I are both trying to build our programs for the long haul, and we're not going to get caught up in a tough game. I mean, I don't know how many programs would do what he and I are doing with scheduling. There are some that are, but you go out and you play on the road at Wisconsin, the 3rd game, and he's coming to play at Arizona, the 4th game after he's already played Kentucky. I mean, and then he's got Kansas following us. Like, I mean, he's trying to give his team the experiences he thinks he needs to give them so they can be great in conference play and for a postseason run. And we're doing the same. I mean, we're doing the same. It's just, hey, maybe the last couple of years we won a couple of those early games, and so everyone thinks you have all the answers when you don't. And then you lose a couple of the games. Doesn't mean you're going to have a bad year. I mean, it's just, it's just kind of, just staying steady. I mean, staying steady, and that's something we're going to focus on.
DK, I was going to say, that's how you get those top recruiting classes. You have to play the top teams. Those kids want to play against the best because they have aspirations of playing in the NBA, and the only way that you can show that you really have that type of talent is playing other people who have that talent. I mean, how do you lose playing against a Duke? How do you lose playing against these type of teams early in the season? You're doing nothing but learning about yourself. So, hey, who else? If I do have to lose, I'd rather lose to a team like that than, losing to some of these lower-ranked teams.
And it's 2 teams that went to the Sweet 16 and the Elite Eight last year. So clearly what they're doing with Tommy's, the schedule he put together last year, and the way that John Shire is doing it, not being afraid to go and play in these home court environments early in the year.
You want to be challenged, Coach.
Yeah.
I mean, you want to get some adversity. You want to go 10-0 in your non-conference. You want to see some stuff on tape that you need to work on before you get into conference, because otherwise you're going to find that out a third of the way through the conference play, Kelvin, and that's a bad time to learn about what kind of changes you got to make.
Well, and they went and got smacked in the mouth last year down at Arkansas, and then the next game by Damon over in Atlanta. So they felt it early, having to go into Bud Walton Arena, which is never an easy place to go play, and then to go down to Atlanta and play down there, and then losing the ACC opener. They learned some lessons early in that season, and it paid off for them in the end. All right, let's give you our keys to the game for tonight.
Wildcats fans, our keys to the game are brought to you by the Royal Automotive Group. Royal Automotive, the dealership that is different.
All right, keys to the game, Arizona and Duke. I'll start on this one. I want to see a team that comes out here really and does a few of the things that they've done to be successful this season, and that's attack the offensive glass. I want to continue to see them perform in that area because, again, I think in a game that's officiated on a more even level, you're going to win more often than not if you're winning at the offensive end on the glass. And so I want to see the Wildcats continue to – I don't know if you're going to get 20 offensive rebounds every night, but I'll take between 15 and 20 at that end with Toby Awaka leading the way for the Arizona Wildcats in that respect. And then I think you're going to have to, again, defensively stay on that three-point line and not allow them to get going shooting the basketball, because we've seen here it's usually when teams like Washington State can come in and beat you is when they come in and they can get hot from behind the arc. So defend that three-point line is going to be important. And I think the other key for me is Caleb Love. Caleb Love in these type of games, this is why we brought him here. We brought him here to win these types of games, to be the guy in these types of games. So I want to see a 25-plus point performance from Caleb Love tonight.
Well, my keys to the game is I think first that we need to really try to push the fast break. We're playing the tallest team in the nation, and I think we have some of the most athletic guards in the nation. So I think we have an athletic advantage against these guys, a speed advantage against these guys. And I would really love to see us get in transition, get some easy buckets to kind of take the pressure off the Caleb Loves of the world to get their scoring going. I think defensively we're going to have it tough tonight because of these guys can really stretch you out with the 4-out guards, with the one big, trying to pick and roll, trying to force you to help. I think we'll have to be real smart on helping and not helping too much where we're giving up wide open catch and shoot threes. So got to be there on the catch, so these guys have to think about that shot. And then last, you talked about it. You said Caleb Love. I would really love to see Townsend really wake up in this game and start to have a big game offensively, because I think his experience against some of these young Cooper Flagg type of guys that are guarding him could really come in handy and get him into foul trouble.
Yeah, all great points, guys. For me, it's number one, stay down, because you saw so much fouling up there in Madison. This team's going to spread you out. Like Kelvin said, like DK said, this is the tallest team. They got size across the board. They're going to do damage around the rim. If you also let them get hot from outside, start the game, that's just a long night. So make sure that you're really, really smart about rotations, and make sure that you don't fall for a lot of those pump fakes. Excuse me.
J-Dub is so excited that he has lost his voice here.
I swallowed some water. Number two, you got to dominate the boards. Get up for the boards, should I say. You're never going to dominate the boards against the Duke team with all that size. But just get in there, Kelvin, fight for those rebounds, because it's going to be a high-energy, high-intensity game. You're going to see a lot of guys, potentially some, maybe a little bit of adrenaline, shooting a little long. Make sure you get in the boards. And you said Kelvin, you said Caleb Love. I'm sorry, DK, you said Caleb Love. You said Townsend. I'm talking about the whole backcourt. I think just the way that they showed up in Madison.
Three-guard play.
Those three guys.
Just
how much pressure they could put on the rim and just what they can bring from the defensive side. Right. Those three guys, not about redemption, just come and show what you can do. I think that's going to be what's key to win this game tonight versus Duke.
All right, those are your keys to an Arizona win over the Duke Blue Devils.
Wildcats fans, that's our keys to the game. Brought to you by the Royal Automotive Group. Royal Automotive, the dealership that is different.
And let's give you your starting lineups for tonight's game.
The foundation of a great college basketball team begins with the starting lineup. Today's starting lineup is brought to you by Rockin' K, a master plan community designed by nature.
Jaden Bradley at one guard, 6'3", 200-pounder out of Rochester, New York, averaging 14 points and 4 rebounds per contest. Caleb Love, 6'4", fifth-year guard out of St. Louis, 11 points and shooting 35% from the floor. KJ Lewis at a guard position. He's averaging 12 points on the season. 6'4" sophomore out of El Paso, Texas. Trey Townsend at one forward, 6'6", fifth-year out of Oakland, averaging 9 points and 4 rebounds. Toby Awaka, the other forward, 6'8", 250 out of Tennessee, 10 points and 12 rebounds this season. That is going to wrap up our coverage here for Calvin, J-Dub, Dragon Ball. I'm DK. Arizona and Duke coming up next. Bear down, Arizona.
Our Window Depot coverage of Arizona basketball continues. This is Meridian Wealth Management Arizona Game Day. Hour 3 of the pregame show is brought to you by Broadway in Tucson, Cool Willie's Air and Plumbing, Drain Medics, First Choice Pools, Goldberg and Osborne the Injury Lawyers, Kaiser Garage Doors and Gates, O'Reilly Chevrolet, Showtime Sports Cards, Tucson Police Department, and by Meridian Wealth Management. Wealth well managed, life well lived.
Make Dave & Buster's a part of your weekly rituals. Military Monday, get extra gameplay on your card. Tuesday night is Trivia Night with great prizes. Thursday is extra credit with student discounts on gameplay after 9 p.m. Stop in Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. for lunch specials. Want more? Rewards members will get an extra 100 chips with the purchase of 100 chips and Sunday sips for hospitality workers. Full and quick service restaurants, hotels, and amusement parks. Discounted beverages and apps after 9 p.m. only at Dave & Buster's.
Think of waking up with energy, standing tall and feeling free. Think first chiropractic,